Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Afton and I'm Monty's tarot child, and today we have a very special picker card just for you. Today we are taking a look at one or more of your energetic blind spots. So for this reading, I would love if you would just take the time to pause, take a few deep breaths, and meditate on which one of these piles is most likely connected to your energy, and we can hop right into your reading. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. You chose the beautiful pyrite crystal. This is your stone, and I'm going to set it right off to the side. And we're going to get right into your reading and see what Spirit wants you to know. So you have, things are not what they seem. You are only trapped by your illusion. What freedom do you seek? Okay. So this is the card that you have as the energetic blind spot that you may be unaware of or becoming more aware of as you're watching this reading. I do also want to be mindful of the phrases on this card and how, freedom is not an individual right. It's not even something that can be achieved necessarily always individualistically. So when it says you are only trapped by your illusion, that is not to say that, that's the only thing that confines you or makes you feel trapped. This is also saying like there are portions of freedom that you are able to still grant yourself, even if you suffer from something that is systemic. For example, government, systems, financial systems, things that are out of your control, that are out of the greater majority's control. Those are the things that are not illusions, of course. And I want to recognize that and be aware of that. Like there are certain entrapments that takes the collective in order to free the individual. And sometimes we cannot rely on the collective. We cannot rely on the very system that entraps us to free us. And that is not like a hopeless message. It is a truth, a universal truth that many people are oppressed and they are suppressed and restricted, even in their own homeland, in their own country. So that was a long way of me saying like I am aware of the wording on this card and how controversial, especially during these times, that it can be. But I want to point out that some illusions are very much like they feel very much real. So a blind spot for you specifically is also just this first sentence. Things are not what they seem. So that is exactly what a blind spot is actually, especially when you think of a vehicle and how I'm pretty sure most vehicles still in this day and age have the message within the side view mirror that cars may appear or vehicles may appear closer than what you believe within the side view mirror. So there's something here within your blind spot energetically that is not exactly what it seems. And so we're going to use the oracle to target what that thing may be outside of freedom and, what freedom ideally looks like for you energetically. So let's see. I'm going to use the oracle and we're going to ask your spirit guides to guide us in this message and see what else the oracle wants to tell you. Okay, very nice. At the bottom of the deck, you have leadership. Okay, so some of you may need to, be reminded that you are free to be a leader. You are free to take that leadership role, to, embrace leadership and to not back down from being viewed as someone who is in charge or who has a form of authority over your life and over your decisions and over helping other people as well. You have nature, very interesting, with the heart chakra and the crown chakra. So you have nature here. There's something here about trusting your natural instinct, especially as leadership comes out. That is what a leader does. They trust what feels most natural to them. With the nature card here, your spirit guides are wanting you to know that there is this energy of simplicity as well within nature, and how you can find a lot of resources, a lot of things that you are in need of in nature. That comes from like nourishment, that comes from, your bodily systems regulating as well. Being in nature actually helps and is proven to help calm the nervous system in a lot of different ways. Of course, nature is not for everyone, and so it is not always like the recommended, oh, go put your feet in the grass type of message. This is a message for you to connect in ways to nature that makes you feel most comfortable, and that also helps you to, again, regulate. For some reason, I'm getting regulate your nervous system, and to be able to put yourself at ease in a way. Things are not what they seem. Again, when I hear or think of nature, I think natural. Things are not what they seem. You are only trapped by your illusion. Let's see what else, what other cards we can get for you, pile one, to solidify this message for you. Okay, we can keep it. Loneliness. I know that I am never alone. Okay. And as you can see, these figures are connected by the thing that connects us all, which is the earth, which is nature. Okay. So yes, finding people that you feel safe or comfortable with to go hiking, or to go on, like a little trail. It doesn't have to be major physical endeavors, but going on a trail hike, going to a park to take nature photography is something that, I would definitely encourage. But loneliness, I know that I am never alone. So within your energetic blind spot, you do feel alone. You do wish that you could be more connected, especially to the divine source. And those who are, you would like to be connected to source, and to those who are connected to source in their own unique ways as well. And so sometimes you battle with loneliness. And within this blind spot, what you don't see is that you are actually never alone. There are energies in your life that are with you, guiding you, protecting you, but also there are people to uplift you as well in your life. I'm not sure if you have a physical representation of those people, or not, if you have like any close relational people, that divine yin energy that makes you feel nurtured, that makes you feel empowered even as well. At the bottom of the deck, you have imagination. I embrace, yes, and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. Okay. So stepping outside of your blind spot, shifting your perspective so that your blind spot does also shift. You are very creative. You are very imaginative. That is what's supporting you right now, especially within your leadership or taking the lead on maybe a creative project or something creative in your life. Your spirit guides want to remind you that you have an outlet. Your imagination is your outlet. It grants you that freedom that you seek most oftentimes. You probably are a creative who feels very free during the creative process. And of course, it is not always accessible for creatives to do what they love and live the life that they love as well. Most times the artist, the creative, they feel like they are sacrificing something in order to be able to even create just a little of what they imagine in their life. And for you, I feel like it is an outlet for you. It is an escape when things feel isolating rather than internal. Those are two different like feelings, if you understand what I mean. Feeling isolated means it almost feels as if it's a punishment. It almost feels like it's a punishment from God or source, that says, I deserve to be alone. When in reality, you are being encouraged to take time, especially if you don't feel like you get to do that frequently, to like take the time to be to yourself in order to create and to free your mind outside of the limitations that exist there. Creating and being creative nourishes your mind. It helps you to create a new landscape, to take what feels scary, what feels limiting, and to break the walls down and say, I actually have more space and more room than I realized, simply because I'm in this moment of creation that makes me feel very alive and very connected to the earth and very connected to earthly, enlightened, and divine beings as well. So let's see what else we have for you. Pile number 1, this is a beautiful reading so far. I hope that you are enjoying it. Let's see what else your spirit guides want you to know about your energetic blind spot. And this is not a negative message at all. I wasn't expecting it to be, but I can't control all of the energies that come out. And for this reading specifically, pile 1, your spirit guides are actually encouraging you to take a blank wall and make it beautiful, if you know what I mean. The example that is coming to mind is someone who has been living in their home for over a year, maybe 2 years, and they're really unsatisfied with the way that it looks. And that is because they have been so busy that they haven't had the time to decorate their space that feels intentional and feels like home or feels like they live there. And of course, I also know that this is, again, a perspective that not everyone else is able to access, because home ownership is not it's not the majority in 2023 as I'm recording this reading. But making a space your own gives you a sense of a home, if that makes sense. Especially if you're a creative. Something that I have had to learn to do for myself as an artist is to actually hang art up on the wall and to beautify this space, to make it my own art museum, especially if that's not accessible to where I live. And I can't just go to art museums or what have you all the time. So it's a way for me to beautify my space with my own energy, my own creativity, and to validate it by putting it up on the wall or somewhere where I can see it visibly, like when I am continuously interacting with my home throughout the day. That is a blessing for me as an artist to be able to do that, especially because I'm getting real personal here, but I have been the type of artist who's wanted to be in art shows, even though sometimes it was a fee for artists to join an art show. And I've wanted to hang my paintings in public spaces, which has, something that I have actually been able to do. And although those things were not, for the long term, they were instances where I have either desired or been able to achieve those things. It's just nothing like having it in your home and validating it by looking at every detail, remembering, where you made that one mistake that you covered up within your painting. And of course you can't tell anymore now because you've adjusted your art in that way. And, it's really intimate to hang up your own artwork in your home or your space. So I highly, of course, as you can tell, I highly recommend. But let's continue with your reading. You have the Clary Sage card with the key word being insight. The trigger statement says there is no hope. The true statement says there is a higher purpose. Connect with your higher self and allow to be guided to your higher purpose. As the veil of illusion, of course, falls away, you will find your answer. So you do have this illusion that continues to pop up. Your spirit guides continue to want you to be able to access clear sight. Because as you can see in this card, things look very blurry. The person's hand is covering one of their eyes. It's obscured. So it is an illusion of a person. And your spirit guides want you to gain more clarity on yourself, more insight into your purpose in general, specifically, I should say. Your creativity is a large part of your purpose. They want you to connect with your higher self, which can be sometimes difficult, especially when we're in an emotional place or we're feeling lonely, we're feeling isolated again. It's hard to connect with our higher self and to listen to the guidance that they are trying to give you towards your higher purpose. So it will take some time for you at this time to sit and get clear, sit and get still, listen, and maybe even having to sage your space energetically so that it can help you to clear any distractions of you getting connected with your higher self. Because that is the whole point of this reading, and of these feelings that you may have been feeling up until this reading, trying to get you in a natural state, in nature, calm, no distractions, outside interactions per se, in order for you to get really deeply in touch with your purpose. That is the point of this energetic blind spot right now, where you're thinking that something is as it seems, and then you turn around and it's not that at all. And you may continue to run into this type of blind spot until you realize, like, oh, I keep trying to look at this head on, and I need to still myself for a moment in order to see clearly. At the bottom of the deck, you have renewing with the keyword forgiveness. Trigger statement, I did not deserve this. True statement, I forgive. And with these statements, I want to say that, especially with this kind of trigger statement, all things can be true. It is, where the truth stems from that makes it a trigger statement. So, of course, you did not deserve whatever it is that is, asking you to forgive. But the focal point is the forgiveness. And the card says, allow the labels of judgment to disappear. See the situations and individuals through your heart. Forgive yourself. Okay. So this is about self-forgiveness. Telling yourself it is okay that you believe this at once upon a time in life. It is okay that you did not witness individuals through your heart at the time. That wasn't something you had knowledge or access of. Letting yourself know that overall, the perspective that you have held up until this point and hereafter is one that was necessary for your growth and your evolution. I feel like your spirit guides are here to tell me and to let you know that there is no need to judge yourself or to nitpick at what it is that you quote unquote got wrong, or stayed too long in, or mulled too long over. It's like they want you to let that go. That is not, it's not necessarily not necessary to continue to judge yourself on what you did or did not do. That delays the renewing process. It keeps you, again, from being able to really connect with your higher self, so that your higher self can guide you to your higher purpose even further. So be gentle with yourself. Do not, try to be as gentle as possible, pile number one, and seek creativity. Seek your creativity. whether that is writing yourself a love note, whether that is scrapbooking, or finding some, old childhood pictures of yourself to scrapbook and do the creative thing that you do around that. So that is another message for you in regards to your energetic blind spot. Be kind to yourself, pile one. Okay. What else, please, Spirit? Pile number one. This is two, and I just need one. Pile number one, please, Spirit. Pile number one. It's two again. Interesting. So I'm just going to keep it because I think it was the same chakras that popped out. I'm not sure if they're the same cards or not, but we have the fifth chakra with the throat chakra, which we see here representing your other cards. And of course, the crown chakra once again. So let's do the fifth chakra first, or the throat chakra, with truthfulness. I am truthful and honest with myself. I aim to overcome any fears about speaking my truth, and I speak in a loving, considerate way. My personal empowerment comes from telling the truth and letting others know who I am. That's about that illusion and loneliness too. Others will be positively uplifted when they hear my truth, and I take care not to exaggerate in order to impress them. I am careful not to let my mind mislead me, and in turn, others. I avoid gossiping or speaking negatively of others. Okay, so there is something that your spirit guides are encouraging you to share. They want you to speak in a compassionate and truthful way, an honest way, and to be connected with others. There is this connection. You may struggle with not feeling connected to others, and that is because you have a hard time speaking your truth. When it comes to a good communication style, there is a give and take. There is a listen, and then there is a share. And sometimes you may be on the listening end rather than the sharing end. And that keeps your thoughts, your perspectives, your feelings to yourself. That warps the connection in a way where, again, you were on the receiving end and rarely ever able to share. So before you can speak your truth to others, you must first speak it to yourself. You must remind yourself like there is a purpose in being connected honestly and truthfully to other people, so that you are not there. It's never about impressing another. It is about being witnessed by another, and for that person to witness themselves in you, if at all possible. They cannot do that if you do not share. You will continue to feel alone and lonely if you are unable to speak your truth and, share in a loving and considerate way. It says my personal empowerment. That is such a strong energy. My personal empowerment comes from telling the truth and letting others know who I am. Do you feel known? Do you feel understood? Is that because there is a part of your heart that locks away certain communication, and you have basically settled into like being misunderstood or being unknown? Maybe it's very comfortable for you to be in this position, and it makes you more uncomfortable to speak. This is an energetic blind spot for you, though, because as a leader, you are meant to be able to communicate with others. You're meant to share your mind, your voice, your thoughts. You're meant to help guide and lead others in a way that only happens through expression, through truthfulness and speech. So work on your throat chakra. Your spirit guides want you to work on your throat chakra meditations, you know, anything that you have to do. Not even just meditations. You can write as well. Maybe writing is a step forward to you speaking, because writing is a form of expression. It is just about that, letting yourself be known. Let yourself be known in all different types of ways. Let yourself be seen, heard, and watch how that changes more than you could have realized, because things are not what they seem. You may think, oh, silence is better. Like, it's just no way that talking about this could actually help anything. Seventh chakra and the 7 here. Yeah, you could be seeing 777. But you're thinking, oh, there's just no way that this would solve this problem. And that is an illusion. It actually will. Speak your mind and observe how things start to shift because of you following the guidance that you feel and that you have sought out. So the crown chakra is connected to bliss, and it says, I seek and find peace, quietness, and moments of bliss in my life. I'm persistent in this quest. I allow myself to feel divine presence radiating within and around me. I allow myself to create abundance and fulfillment and to live a life free of fear. Meditation is a part of my life. So we were just talking about the throat chakra meditation, and Spirit said, yes, they agree. So this is good. A good confirmation that what you meditate on consistently will have it's less about improvement and more about awareness. So you'll be more and more aware of how your communication skills have transformed over time through meditation and quietly witnessing yourself spiritually. So in that, again, that loneliness that you may try to avoid feeling by, again, receiving other people's messages, is something that will actually help you find peace and bliss in your life. And it, again, is you have to be persistent in this quest. Your spirit guides want you to know that this is a journey. It's not a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is your lifelong purpose, is to be able to speak clearly, to be able to see spiritually clear, and to receive messages, divine messages from source in order to speak with others as a leader creatively. This is a part of your purpose. And the more that you practice it personally, just because, not for gain of anything, the more natural it will become in your professional life, even if that's something that you are considering at this time. At the bottom of the deck, you have the second chakra with the sacral chakra, and it says, reward myself. I know that I am truly worthy and deserve to receive the good things in life, and I give myself permission to have them. It is time to enjoy the fruits of my labors. I aim to incorporate and embrace fun and joy in my life. I realize that all work and no play is a recipe for energy flow, disruption, and exhaustion. I may need to repeat that again for you, pile number 1, just in case you missed it. It says, I realize that all work and no play is a recipe for energy flow, disruption, and exhaustion. And that doesn't sound like something that you want. It also says, I allow myself to experience and receive more pleasure in my life, and I am flexible and open to change. I am receptive to embracing activities and events that come my way, even those I may have avoided in the past. Yes. So maybe activities and events that have you networking a little bit, have you communicating a little bit, and not just about work, but maybe just, again, personally. Someone may be curious about you at an event or an activity and want to get to know you casually and want to get to know, maybe things on topics of healing and such. And maybe you will be confronted in having to decide to do something that may be a very big fear for you, which is to communicate and make yourself vulnerable to others through communication. So that is a beautiful message for you. Be receptive and embrace the things that come your way, even those things that you may have avoided in the past, because things are not what they seem. You never know if you're going to crack an egg and get 2 yolks. For all of you who that is for. You have the Wheel of Fortune coming out. Beautiful card. Beautiful energy, letting you know that you are fortunate. The energy is on your side. This is a good time to try things out of your norm. Not too far out, not anything to endanger you, of course. I just want to make that clear in case there is an illusion of what you feel I am saying. I want you to be safe, pile number 1, but I also want you to try something a little different. Read something out of your typical forte. Take a path, that's not too veered off, either from work or somewhere that you typically go on a norm. Take a different path if you can. Use a GPS if you need to. The Wheel of Fortune is saying, there is change in the air that cannot necessarily be measured. It cannot be predicted in the way where it's this amount of change, this amount of fortune or reward is coming to you. We do know about events or activities opening up for you in the near future. Once, a good part of this reading is initiated and you begin to speak and, talk to people again, networking, communicating, being seen, you'll start to see that, doors are opening up, things are changing. I'm in different atmospheres than I have been in the past. I'm kind of feeling it. I'm kind of digging it. You have the Hangman and the Chariot. Wow. So that is 3 major arcana cards for you off the bat. And these energies are actually very opposing. You see the Hangman is in a disposition. And of course, it is intentional. They are here to be enlightened. But the Chariot is a person who is about to be on the go, who is getting ready, who is preparing for a journey that may be long, it may be tedious, but we're actually not sure of where the Chariot figure ends up necessarily. For you, what does this mean, Padawan? I believe it's essential. Your spirit guides are saying it is essential for you to get clarity over this blind spot before making new moves or before accepting the guidance that is coming to you, because the Chariot does, of course, remind me of a typical vehicle on wheels or any kind of mode of transportation on wheels. You're going to have blind spots. And in order to keep the journey from being so long and so desolate and so disheartening, you have to be aware of what your blind spots are before getting on the road. So this is, to me, saying with the Hangman, take some time to check your vehicle, your energetic vehicle, with quotations, of course. Check your vehicle, make your energetic vehicle, make sure your heart has had an oil change. Make sure your mind has gotten a tune-up and it's not, squeaking every time you try to brake. I love me a good metaphor. So take, of course, what part of this message resonates for you. Pile number 1, make sure you are in a good place to start moving before you move. Think through what the things that you say yes to. Think through if you need to say no because you're feeling a little overwhelmed emotionally or mentally. There's no need to fear missing out on something, because these type of things, these type of opportunities can always be repopulated. They can always return to you in a different form, in a different state. I don't have to say better than the previous. It's not about better or worse. It's about you will have a continuous flow of opportunities come and go in your life. And you don't have to say yes to everything. Everything doesn't have to be a yes. Sometimes you have to fight those feelings of loneliness, of being alone, to say, wow, I really needed that alone time to restructure my thought patterns, because, you know, it helped me to understand better how I interact with others. Making a mess over here with the cards. But let's continue and see what else the tarot wants you to know in this message. Call number 1, please, Spirit. What is their energetic blind spot trying to tell them? I'm going to pull out 2 more cards, I believe. Oh, I got it. All right. You have the 9 of Pentacles. Beautiful. Very beautiful. Love the imagery in these tarot cards. The 9 of Pentacles tells you that you are abundant. Again, nature is your form of resource. Nature is resourcing you. And you are abundant. You may not feel that way. You may look to material things to validate your abundance. But there is this energy within the 9 of Pentacles of you being well off, taken care of in a garden that ensures that you never go hungry, that you are always fed and protected, that there is always hope for new growth. I think that you are in an environment where you are very close to finding your purpose. Again, and it is beside or outside of monetary gain, and more so, you know, feeling very stable in yourself and in your future. That is what this purpose is here to remind you. That everywhere you go, even if you are not in a specific environment, you are resourced and taken care of. The Chariot is also ruled by the number 7 again. So you may, again, I just want to say it one more time, be seeing 777. Okay. You have the 5 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Let's see what these 2 cards are that came flying out for you. You have the 6 of Wands and the 3 of Wands. Lots of fire energy. So you could be an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or have that energy surrounding you quite a bit. But the 3 of Wands and the 6 of Wands. The 3 of Wands tells me that your world is expanding. It echoes the message of the Wheel of Fortune, saying many opportunities, many instances where you will be able to look out and decide what your next journey looks like what direction you want to head in. I think that this will come after some sort of recognition, because the 6 of Wands talks about being recognized, being celebrated along your journey. And so this is just purely, I believe, for your own recognition within your life events. You will feel celebrated, whether by, you celebrating your own self or by others. And then you will be, again, checking in with self, saying, am I prepared for this next journey? Am I equipped? Do I feel equipped? Do I believe in my resources? Do I have the faith that my resources will not run out mid-journey and that I am taken care of along the way? I am supported along the way. I am assisted along the way. There's something here about faith and believing in what you feel rather than what you see, because sometimes our eyes can be eluded, as we mentioned at the beginning of your reading. So sometimes you have to feel things, even with the Wand's energy, even through your own spirit. Maybe it's not just your heart. Maybe it's not just an emotional matter, because I think faith is like a full-bodied feeling. So your spirit guides want to make sure that you check in with yourself and your faith meter, and allow that to keep you going and to keep you connected to your purpose and to your path. You have a lot of options opening up and available to you. Like I mentioned, you don't have to say yes to everything. At the bottom of the deck with the 5 of Wands, be careful with your energy, because if not expelled in the correct way and the healthiest way, again, through your creativity, through your inspiration, you can come off quite fiery, quite, it's like, fiery is the best word that I have for the energy. Feeling spicy, feeling activated in a way by others. If you feel like you haven't been able to check in with self or regulate self through creative outlets, you could be getting very agitated with others very quickly, or other people's agitations with you or your process will affect you energetically, and cause a disruption within the path and process and within your energy as well. So just be mindful of that, of course. So I have one last oracle card for you, pile number 1, just to see what final message your spirit guides want to give you around your energetic blind spot. I'll read those and then we'll get some zodiac signs for you before we go. I'm going to read the card that came out and, of course, the bottom of the deck. But you have Cat's Eye crystal, and this is what it looks like. Look at how beautiful that is. I hope you can see it well. It is stunning. But the Cat's Eye crystal is connected to agility, intuition, and protection. It is also connected to the fire sign Leo and the planet Venus. So some of you could have Venus in Leo or Venus in Aries or Sagittarius. But the Cat's Eye says, evoking the bright eyes of a cat, Cat's Eye is used as a talisman to ward off and protect against any evil or unforeseen danger coming your way on this journey that you're taking. Pile number 1. It increases agility, allowing you to fly beneath the radar of your enemies and progress ahead of your competitors. Cat's Eye enhances night vision, giving you the ability to see through the shadows in higher definition and access heightened levels of intuition by opening the crown chakra, of course. Cat's Eye is regenerative, helping you to regain what was once lost. Okay? And that is Cat's Eye. We'll put this here to the side, and I'm going to read the bottom of the deck for you with Sugar Lights, which this is what that one looks like. Very interesting. Very unique. Okay. And Sugar Light is connected to originality, forgiveness, once again, and unconditional love. It is also connected to the zodiac signs Virgo and Sagittarius, and is connected to the planet Jupiter. This crystal says, Sugar Light helps anybody who has ever felt like they did not belong, feel loved and supported. Vibrating violet rays of unconditional love, Sugar Light brings light workers down to earth, opening them up to share their gifts while staying grounded on planet Earth. Wow, it's so symbolic. For overthinkers and worriers, Sugar Light alleviates issues of the mind, allowing you to focus on what's truly important. Living your truth, yes. Sugar Light facilitates forgiveness, of course, for those that have hurt you, including yourself. Open your heart to what's possible by letting go of all that no longer serves you. And that is your crystal message in regards to your energetic blind spot. And now for the finale of your reading, pile number 1, I'm going to roll the astro dice just 3 times just to see what zodiac energy is around you during this time, and who's helping you through any and all of your energetic blind spots. So the first sign that we have is Pisces. Okay, watery, intuitive, and empathic Pisces. Let's see. The second sign is Gemini. Okay, curious, intellectual, and communicative. This sign can really help you to speak your mind, okay, honey? And so can the Pisces when they really want to. And the third zodiac sign is Leo, of course. The brilliant, the beautiful, enlightening, and elusive Leo, okay? And this is your reading, pile number 1. I hope that you enjoyed it. Oh, Sagittarius wanted to flip over. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. I would absolutely appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel so that you never miss a video. And I look forward to seeing you in another one. Peace. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose this mysterious crystal. I cannot remember where I got it from, and I cannot remember the name of it, but this is your crystal. So I'm going to put it off to the side here. We're going to get right into your reading. And the first card that you have, it says, trust your faith. Dive into the unfolding journey. What is your faith asking of you? Okay, so right off the bat, based on the reading that we are doing here today, a large part of your energetic blind spot is your faith on the journey of life. Because life is a journey. It is a lifelong journey. It's in the phrase itself. And so with you, I feel like when it comes to trusting your path and trusting, that certain things are meant to be and you're meant to experience, that can be a part of your energetic blind spot that is asking you to re-advise or to revisit how to rebuild, all these renewed words, to rebuild your faith and your relationship to your faith. So we're going to just get right into your reading. I'm going to look in the oracle and see what it is that is accompanying this message for pile number 2, please, Spirit. And you can't see it right now, but this candle right here, right off camera, the flame has been consistently, and now it's flickering, but it's been consistently straight ever since I started your reading. Very interesting. While this one over here is like dancing and moving as it wishes, this one is very much so straight up and only doing a little bit of movement here and there. I find that very interesting. But let's see what else. For pile number 2, please, Spirit, what is within their energetic blind spot, please, Spirit? What is your faith asking of you, pile number 2? A lot of the times, the overall theme of the story is that our faith is asking us for perseverance and continuance so that we may continue along our journey. But I'm sure it's more nuanced than just perseverance and keep going and chin up. So we're going to take a look at this message for you for pile number 2. I'm going to have to pull it out. Okay. Sure. Sure, pile number 2, perseverance it is. That is exactly directly a part of the message that is being given to you today. I can't make this up. I literally shuffled, you heard me, multiple times. So, I mean, this is the one. This is the one. This is the message for you. and it's very loud and it's direct. We have double heart chakra energy here. I say double because the entire card is green. It's very interesting how that just came out. And you also have self-love at the bottom of the deck with the number 61, which breaks down to a 7. We also have the root chakra and the throat chakra present. So you expressing yourself in some way, giving love to yourself in a very specific way through expression and verbal self-communication is supporting you at this moment. But let's please get back to the elephant in the room, which is the perseverance card. There is really something here that you have almost given up on. And within this energetic blind spot, you are now receiving this message to let you know, please do not give up on that thing. Whatever it may be, of course, use your own intuition, because again, spirit would never place you in harm or put you in a situation that you must stay in. Some things you have to really consider, like, is this the healthiest thing for me? Do I need to reevaluate how I'm interacting with this thing? So of course, take what resonates in that message, but the perseverance part is key. At this current moment, you're meant to take something a bit further. You're meant to go further along a journey with something. And it may be that because you don't have as much clarity as you would like, you're hesitant. You're like, I don't want to waste my time, my resources, my money with the green energy here, even. And you just don't want it to turn out to be a dead end, if that is the correct word I can use. And so your faith is asking you, journey just a little bit further into it. And do not be afraid of mistakes or of what you may perceive as wasted time or energy, because we have acceptance here. I'm learning to accept the things that I cannot change. This is a big part of your blind spot, because when it comes to things going outside of our plan, going against what we believe is meant to occur, we must accept that the world has its own natural order. And while we have the intention to do something and to even do something well, it doesn't always play out exactly as we see it. And that should still and yet not keep you from persevering and continuing on. So if I could, give an example per se, let's see. You have a project, a creative project, because I love creativity. So that's the train we will be on. But you have a creative project and you complete it. And it turns out just a bit different than you were expecting. Maybe you were expecting the materials to work a very specific way and it didn't. And you don't hate it, but you also don't see what it is that you necessarily envisioned originally. That is just an example, of course, take what resonates. But there is this acceptance of, wow, I completed it. I did the thing. I did the thing that I didn't think that I was going to finish with, first of all. And I still have something to show for it. And I accept the things within this process that I could not change. And still at the end of the day, I can celebrate myself and encourage myself to continue to move forward. Fear is at the bottom of the deck here. I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love, especially with that self-love at the bottom of the deck. You have a fear. I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. That's a fear for you, quite possibly because you feel like, why be kind to the world? Why be kind to a world that is not kind to me? And, that may be one realization. And also you may be realizing like, wow, I really should do as much as I can to show myself love and to learn what that looks like for me. because again, the world is not going to always be available to give me the love that I seek, but I do have the ability to give myself the exact kind of love that I'm looking for, that I crave, that I'm afraid of also. Because I know within that love, some part of me will be exposed and vulnerable to happiness and sadness. Because when we have something so good and nothing is permanent, everything is impermanent, that thing may go away one day. And that may be a real fear for you, not to trigger any of those fearful emotions, but just to connect some things for you with why the fear may be at the bottom of the deck. But maybe you are in some way or another afraid of moving further along your journey, because it means that you're leaving something behind. So somewhere that you've gotten really comfortable being. And this is, of course, again, just another example. And so it's harder for you to further your journey. You've gotten really comfortable in some places. You absolutely accepted certain things that you cannot change. And that may have, breeded a little bit of fear in the sense like, oh, I don't think I'm ready to continue, to keep going. I think I might let fear stop me and keep me where I am. And this is all a part of your energetic blind spot, because you are the individual meant to journey. When I think of journey, I think of Sagittarius. I don't think of Cancer. If you have Cancer and Sagittarius in your birth chart, bless. But Cancer is definitely more so known to settle down and find those roots and create a home around those roots, and to sit with something long enough to watch it grow and to nurture it and to feed it. Virgo is a very similar energy to that as well, but Virgo is mutable, so it can go when it needs to. It can go and visit and come right back. That's that Mercury energy. But for you, you're meant to journey, and to have many different journeys, because it's an unfolding of journeying. And that's sometimes within yourself and outside of yourself as well. So let's get deeper. Let's get deeper into the reading. We're going to do this Oracle deck next and see what else Spirit. Quite too many. There's like 3 of them: detoxification, topical, and enlightening, in case any of those come back out. So we just need one energy, please, Spirit. Thank you. Very timely. You have citronella with the keyword being expel. At the bottom of the deck, you have uplifting with the keyword being cheerful. I will read both of those for you. Pile number 2. Let's just put it right here. Lots of green, lots of heart chakra. We also have your solar plexus chakra being highlighted with the citronella. But the trigger statement says, I am being invaded. The true statement says, I am pure. As you align with the frequency of peace, the invasions from outside yourself and dissonance within are neutralized. Okay. So I think for me, witnessing these cards, acceptance looks a lot like alignment. For you, pile number 2. Accepting that certain energy is not for you and you're not meant to change it. You're just meant to expel it in any way that you can, because it is creating dissonance within you. And of course, we are in the cutting off culture, where it's more encouraged to cut off connections rather than to address, the parts that we may play, possibly. Of course, take what resonates. I do not want to offend you, pile number 2. But the parts that we play in the dissonance that happens within the connection. There is a lot of what I have been witnessing, experiencing, and what I would like to relay in this message is, when we leave our authenticity at home and we go outside and we interact with people, they are not meeting us as we are. They are meeting a version of ourselves that they are now going to start expecting to see, because your authenticity was left at home. It was hidden in your back pocket. And yes, authenticity, that's a very it's vulnerable to be authentic, because people nowadays, they have no problems with telling you, I don't appreciate your authenticity. I actually don't like how you're showing up right now. It doesn't fit my vibe. That's never a comfortable thing to experience. And yet it saves you so much time. It saves you so much time to be upfront with who you are, so that way you know where to place people in your life, how much interaction you're meant to have with them. And that doesn't always just mean cutting someone off, because that's not always possible, especially if it's familial. As we were talking about Cancer and that root, it's like sometimes you just have to accept, okay, this energy has invaded my space for quite some time, and now it's time for me to purify. It's time for me to detoxify, as we saw that one card fly out for you. So you are aligning with the frequency of peace. That is meaning that you are, again, persevering further down your journey, because you're realizing, I thought this was peace, but now I'm going to get deeper. I'm going to get deeper into it. And I'm learning in the process of learning to accept the things that I cannot change. I'm not trying to change the environment. I'm just trying to change where I stay at, so that it reflects my faith and my beliefs and my values. At the bottom of the deck, with uplifting, the trigger statement says, I am powerless. The true statement says, I am excited to see what the future brings. The future is bright. Enjoy knowing that your optimism today fuels your amazing tomorrow. And so when you have a fear-based reflection of the future, it does look scary. You do look powerless. There are things you cannot control. Control is being taken away from you, rather than you granting yourself a certain amount of control, the control that you have over your selfhood. And so that powerlessness is directly connected to fear. And when you test yourself, you test your resolve to not only live in the energy of love, but to believe in it as well. And to believe that love is an energy that can carry you much farther in life and along your journey, because it fuels you. Enjoy knowing that your optimism, your love for life today fuels your amazing tomorrow. Okay. So you have a lot of joy supporting you in the midst of your fear. It's kind of like an angsty energy where you're like, I'm excited. Beyond anything else, I'm excited to just see. I'm just excited to do something different, to challenge myself, to uphold the things that, again, you say that you believe in, that you have faith in. I think a part of your energetic blind spot is kind of, on the floor it fell. And I see a lot of heart chakra energy. I love that for you. But a part of you allow certain things. I mean, we all do. But with the I am being invaded, it makes me feel as if you believe that love is allowing people to be who they are, so much so that it takes away from who you are, because you think that it is love to uplift and uphold another higher, their feelings higher above yours, when a real relationship in any form, family, friend, or romantic, any relationship means that we are equal. We both have value. Both of our emotions matter. Both of our voices matter. The state in which our heart chakras matter. And if one thing is good for the other, but the other is not good for the other, then that is not a healthy relationship. It is a person who consciously or unconsciously is taking advantage of your good heart and your inability to say no, your inability to leave because you are comfortable, because that thing makes you feel like you have control until things become out of control. And then you're like, I thought things were in control. And so, I think love and the promise of love keeps us sometimes, again, not journeying. It keeps us from journeying because some people don't journey themselves. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the reading, everyone has a different path in this lifetime. So you are not, like this person is alone here in their journey, which does not mean that you're going to always be alone or that you're destined to be alone. It means that in this passage, this is a solitary experience that you're in. And that next destination, you never know who you will meet, who will be there surrounding you and encouraging you to be your natural self, accepting you as you are and not trying to control or change you. But, oh yeah, heart chakra city for you, my pile number 2s. But this heart chakra card says it's connected to peace. And it says, I will meditate and be peaceful and calm in my interactions with others in the world. Wow, that's spot on. Peacefulness comes in me, giving up the love of power for the power of love. Yet again, spot on. I invite peace to be a part of my life, and I make time to experience my own inner stillness daily. I continually develop an inner sense of calm, and I trust that everything will be right. Feeling good about myself will help bring peace into my life. Okay? So feeling good about yourself, surrounding yourself with the energy that reflects who you are, that reminds you of who you are. Sitting in stillness and meditating on who you are and what you have journeyed through already and who that has created you to be. I see you, once becoming more and more aware. Oh yeah. So before I get to that, fourth chakra, you have the 4 here in perseverance. You could be seeing 444. You could be seeing 888 or 777. But you are inviting peace into your life as you become more and more aware of this energetic blind spot where you have such a big heart. Pile number 2, like it's all over the reading. And you have also tried to have faith that other people have a heart similar to yours. When you have interacted with them, you would like to think, oh, because my heart is so pure, I'm certain that I am attracting the most pure energy around me as well. And no, that is not always the case. Of course, you have to witness and observe how people try to shape and mold you versus how they let you be. But sometimes people are just attracted to this heart chakra energy because they don't have a lot of it for themselves. And so that disrupts your peace. That makes you feel invaded. That makes you feel like people are trying to overpower you, take the best parts of you for their enjoyment and their pleasure. And again, that has disrupted and dissociated your energy. Dissonance is a word, but of course, dissociated came out for some reason. So you are, during this awareness phase of your energetic blind spot, you are witnessing yourself and you're complimenting yourself and you are, telling yourself, like, and reminding yourself what energy belongs to you, what energy is here to be expelled, and how you are being called to further persevere on this path of love is really what it's giving for me. Love and connection and understanding to others and the world. Your interactions with others have not been peaceful and calm, but you're finding it, again, journeying. You are finding it for self before sharing it with others, and especially before allowing others to take advantage of the newly found peace that you have just like harvested in your life. You've worked for it. So it's not just something that has come to you. Before you can reap the rewards of the harvest, you have to sow the seeds. And that is what you are doing at this time. It feels kind of unconscious, but you're gaining more and more clarity about how it is conscious at the same time, if that makes sense. At the bottom of the deck, you have, again, the other heart chakra card with generosity. Generosity is sharing. Very interesting that this is coming out for you. I give myself freely, and I am open to opportunities to do so. I do this because I can, and I expect nothing in return. Speaking from the heart will let those around me know how I feel about them. My generosity will touch another person's heart and replenish their spirit. Through love, I have a positive, spontaneous, and lasting influence on the healing and transformation of both myself, that comes first, and others. What a beautiful card. And so I feel like this is the energy that you are manifesting for yourself presently, unconsciously, because you, again, have been around people who have felt that generosity and they have cashed out on your energy, on your love, on the transformation that you've been able to provide for another person, on the replenishing, renewing, and healing, deep healing that you offer to other people simply by giving them love and attention. They have cashed in on it. And so rather than you closing your heart, closing it off because you were saying it's not for sale. Actually, they were taking it for free. You can't get any more samples. Rather than saying, this experience was so bad that I'm going to actually keep certain things to myself, because I just can't trust people and I can't trust their intentions or their actions. Of course, be vigilant, be aware of who continues to replenish themselves and you are left feeling drained or empty or less off because you have given versus given and received. And that doesn't mean that you always have to receive something right as you are giving something to someone else. But you can be aware of the patterns of overgiving, oversharing, and how that has basically, it has, created this energy where you interact with others in the same manner that you interacted with this person. And everyone has to be equal because you can't trust anyone because that person got through. I think that was a part of the learning to accept the things you cannot change. Your spirit guides don't want you to regret the energy that you have given because, the person that took it, they very well could have needed it. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it fair, equal. But that also, it shouldn't dictate how you interact with people that you firstly just met or that, you've had a long lasting relationship with either based on another person's actions. And of course, this makes sense to you. I know it, I'm sure it does make sense to you, pile number 2, but it is a reminder that you cannot change people. You can only accept the experience that you've had with them and move forward with different and more aware boundaries. And and purify your heart after those interactions to remind yourself of your purpose in love, which is to give an energy that cannot be replicated by you, specifically pile number 2. Everyone has love. Everyone is capable of love, but you give it in your own personalized way, just like everyone else. And that's not meant to stop or change or be cut off because of someone else's inability to pour into your cup. So the Spirit wants you to persevere in this. They want you to persevere, keep leading with your heart, keep having faith in love and the power of love, because it is here for you. It is a part of your journey. It is meant for you to, have faith in the power of love, because without it, you would be a completely different person. And your interactions with people would be completely different. All right, let's see what else we have. Let's consult the tarot and see what other energies want to come out for you. We did have the 2 of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles flip over rather quickly for you. But I'm going to shuffle more directly for pile number 2, please, Spirit. What does the tarot want them to know? I have to pull them out too. All right, let's pull them out. We have quite a few that came out all at once. You have the Strength card, okay? You're pretty much stuck together. So they wanted to come together. The Strength card, you have the 8 of Wands and the Page of Cups. Very interesting. I'm curious about the energy. The 8 of Wands talks about swift and quick information or awareness of something that you have been needing to witness or be aware of. So a lot of people will say, oh, you're receiving a message that's coming to you quickly. But it doesn't have to necessarily be in the form of communication. I do like to look at that card as well as like enlightenment, awareness, something hitting you pretty quickly. But we also have the Page of Cups, which is a beautiful, beautiful energy, letting you know that you are a student of all things love. You are meant to learn about this time in your life, about, how, again, you are connected to others, how certain connections influence the, like the original. I was talking about this with my wife this morning, actually. Our original relationships, whether that is with parental figures or just family in general, upbringing, like who you were surrounded with when growing up and how that affects you today and the relationships that you have today. So a lot of the time it can be family that comes up about for. But the Page of Cups is just saying, you are in a new learning phase about yourself and about the most important, relationships in your life present day, and also future relationships as well. The Page of Cups says you are a student of love. You are learning your, not only just your love language, I don't want to simplify it in that manner, but you are learning how it is that you best communicate your love and share your love with others, and the strength that it has taken for you to gain this awareness, because our knowledge is based on experience. What we learn is what we know. How do we learn? Through experiencing. It's not always just about studying. We experience things and then we have an inner knowing. And so this journey for you has been taxing. as it says, testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. This is absolutely a test. And again, within your energetic blind spot, your spirit guides are asking you to not give up just yet, to not give up on all relations and to throw in the towel. It is going to take some strength from you again to continue to journey. Someone has really put a bad taste in your mouth is what it feels like for relations in a way. It has, it's taught you a lot about yourself, but it has tested your strength. And so you're becoming aware. Your spirit guides are sending you this message, and I'm sure many other signs of saying, be generous, be open, be vulnerable, lead with your heart, continue to find your people, continue to put yourself in maybe somewhat vulnerable situations where you're forced to meet new people, because you never know the interaction that you may come across that rehabilitates, that reinforces your faith and love. This is such a powerful message. Pile number 2. You have the 8 of Pentacles. I knew a Pentacles card was going to come out again eventually, but I want to put this with the Perseverance, because the 8 of Pentacles is mastering something because of repetition. And the Pentacles has a lot to do with our resources, the physical world, our own physical body. And so what it makes me think about is lifting weights and how you do that over and over again until the muscle is built. And so this is the muscle around your heart that is being solidified. And you may not be in a state of believing it right now. Pile number 2. This is further into your journey where you will start to realize like, oh, I've really had a guard up for quite some time because of a specific situation. And it has really reflected in my other relationships and how I have allowed people to be a part of my life or not. And you will gain further knowledge, again, mastering certain aspects of yourself in relation to other people. And at the end of this cycle of your journey, I see you with a refreshed heart chakra, forgiving, because I feel like that was in your card somewhere, just forgiving yourself for how you have shown up thus far based on previous life experiences, and understanding like, this was something that I could not change. It was a part of the process. It was maybe a messy part of the process where I didn't show up as myself, my whole kind, caring, compassionate self. But that was out of an instinct of fear, of being mistreated or taken advantage of. And now you are going to get to a stage of mastering that and saying, I'm showing up as me regardless. No one will ever have the ability to change the way that I treat another person or myself ever again. This is strength of character with the Strength card here. A ferociousness that says, I am a ferocious lover. I have so much love to give inside of my heart, and nothing will keep me from that embodiment. Nothing. Not even myself. Let's see. One more card. Please, Spirit, for pile number 2. Pile number 2, please. Oh, yeah, for sure. When I said 888, we have 8. Another 3 times, actually, because 17 breaks down to an 8. And we have the 8 of Wands, the 8 of Pentacles, and Strength is ruled by the number 8. Okay. It is the 8th card and the major arcana. So let's see. One more tarot card, please, Spirit. Oh, and we got it. Oh, beautiful. The Sun card. Letting you know that the sun is shining on you, that when there is light, there's nourishment, there's health, there's growth. There is warmth and compassion. And, you know, this card, as the sun is not brightly shining right now, as I'm recording the reading, it makes me feel like, you know, that feeling where it feels like the sun is just giving you a hug and letting you know, like, you are alive and here and you are loved. So the sun card is your spirit guides letting you know that everything is actually working out in your favor. Everything is as it should be. And you are moving even further and deeper into the purpose of your life journey at this time. You have the Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Look how fierce. Look at the black cats. So cute. That is that feline intuition, that intuitive knowledge of the shadow as well as the light. The Queen of Wands is depicted as a fierce warrior, a leader, someone who does not play about their heart, who does not play about the hearts of others. And yes, that can be the Queen of Cups, but the Queen of Cups is very nurturing. The Queen of Wands is a very much no-nonsense person who has the power to say no, who also has the power to say yes, and who is so deeply intuitive that they know which response to use, yes or no. And so with that energy being at the bottom of the deck, you are absolutely, you know, pioneering certain decisions in your life with a new heart that says, I'm not apologizing for my yeses and my nos. There's something here about having faith in your natural response to things. Again, allowing yourself to make mistakes and to be human, but to know, like, when I said yes in that moment, I felt it. And when I said no in that moment, I also felt it. And it felt real to me. And that is what I'm leading with, my heart. And as you practice this more and more, you become fluent in what it is that you desire, what it is that you need. And that helps you to relay that message to others as well. Here's how I'm showing up for you, and here's how I would appreciate if you showed up for me. Within your energetic blind spot, I feel like, yeah, the Queen of Wands was hard energy to access. Standing in or sitting in your power and just saying, you know, this is an intuitively based decision that I led with my heart, because my heart is also a logical part of my body, not just my mind. And it took me a lot to get to this place in my life, to trust myself and to trust my faith and to know that everything works out in my favor regardless, because I am here experiencing life to the fullest. All right, let's do one crystal oracle, pile number 2. Let's get one crystal oracle and see what further message, yes, thank you very much, we can get for you. You have pink highlights at the bottom of the deck, which it looks like this. Very pretty. Gorgeous. And I will read that one. It is connected to, of course, self-love, replenish, and cherish with the Cancer and Pisces energy, and it's connected to the planet Earth. I'll read that in just a second. But you also have this beautiful crystal. How gorgeous. I love the beautiful red tones and contrast. But this is a red jasper, of course, with justice, strength, of course, and stability. It is connected to the zodiac Aries and Scorpio, perfect for you with the connection to the planet Mars. And so this card says, red jasper works closely with the base chakra. Yes, we saw that in the self-love, the root chakra, and heals any wounds surrounding injustice, grounding you back to the earth. Red jasper alleviates chronic worry, clearing mental blockages to make space for balanced emotions and thoughts. Working with the root chakra, red jasper can also help heal issues related to sex, inviting you to explore your sexuality in healthy ways. Providing stability and protection, red jasper balances yin and yang, expressing masculine and feminine energies that feel safe yet nourished. Love this energy. Of course, I'm going to do a shameless plug here. If you are looking for a sensuality reading to really tap into your sexual and sensual expression, I do have that reading available on my website, and I will leave that linked below in the description box. Just a shameless little plug there in case you are curious, pile number 2. But the Aries Scorpio energy here, they're both zodiac signs ruled by Mars. And so that is our action. That is the things that we initiate, the impulses that we have to take action. And for some reason, there is this energy of like needing to clear mental blockages and make space for balanced emotions and thoughts. And so, of course, this is a little bit of what we've been talking about, how your interactions, the actions that we take to interact with others have been pretty unbalanced because we have Scorpio not trusted certain energy to make ourselves vulnerable to because of previous experiences that have gone haywire, essentially. And so with the root chakra and working with the root chakra, this crystal, red jasper, and any really red, earthy tone based chakra crystals that you can find, including obsidian and black obsidian, those deep hues and those like strong energetic crystals can help to work through any issues, not just related to sex, but intimacy overall and connecting with another and other people. It takes strength to overcome certain memories and past experiences, and overcome in the sense of like, I, again, won't let this reflect how I interact with other people or how I interact with myself. And so this card is just signifying how you are working as we speak to clear any chronic worry or like mental imbalance related to relating to other people. It also helps you to balance that yin and that yang, expressing masculine and feminine energies that feel safe and nourished as well. You've been looking, journeying outward to find a space that helps you to balance, like to feel safe, to balance those energies within yourself and to express them in a healthy way. Safe, healthy, like you want to live in that fluid state of like, as I show up is how you accept me, and that can change day to day. And I'm into that because I feel like that's deeply who you are for other people. You allow them to show you whatever energy, pops up for them during the day. And you just want that in return. And so it's taking you some time, it's taking you some exploring, some journeying to even get close to that type of fluid acceptance from other people. And I see you working even more and more at it. Your spirit guides see you working more and more at it, and they are telling you that you're on the right path and that they're proud of you for exerting this kind of strength and for not closing your heart off to the many different possibilities of love. But the pink halides or halides, I'm certain I'm saying that incorrectly. But this card says, vibrating with love, this crystal allows you to shed layers of negative thought patterns and beliefs as you connect to the essence of your true self. Yes. This crystal helps you embrace new spiritual practices as a way of life, preventing you from picking up bad habits to begin with. With this stone, you will make choices out of self-love, honoring the highest version of yourself and trusting that you will make decisions for your highest good. Pink halite is a natural form of the mineral salt, known to cleanse toxins from the aura and replenish one's energy field. So that's absolutely the process that you're in right now. All forms of self-love, trying to replenish your heart, renew it, strengthen it, because you know you do. You have a very strong, beautiful heart and you cherish it. And so you're treating your heart as if it's something that you cherish. You're taking inventory, you're making sure, like, do I have the love stamina for this to withstand certain experiences from certain people, or do I need to take some time to master my language of love in solitude for a moment? You will be fluctuating in and out of these energies, fluctuating in and out of all types of energies. Pile number 2, especially with that fluidity that we mentioned in the Mars energy. And your spirit guides are letting you know, like, you're hot on the money. You're exactly where you need to be. And I feel like your emotional state is going to start showing that for you as well, with the cheerful energy at the bottom of the deck. Just continue to be excited about what the future holds for you, and relational wise as well. Like, be excited about the people that you could potentially meet, and know that every experience that you garner is an experience that you could later tell one of your dearest friends about. Lots of stories about how you got involved with certain people who, you know, gave you a life experience that you didn't expect to have, okay? There's always a specific perspective that you can view something in. And I think your heart chakra is ready to start viewing the not lighthearted, but the soft-centeredness of everyone. Everyone has a soft. It's rarely always accessible, but you're kind of just over viewing people identically the same. Okay, so I'm going to now roll the Astro Dice, Scorpio, 3 times to see what zodiac energy is around you at this time and while you are working through this energetic blind spot, and that will be the finale of your reading. So we have Sagittarius energy as the first energy out. We also have Leo energy as the second zodiac out, and one final energy, Cancer. We mentioned Cancer. We mentioned Cancer and Sagittarius. Very interesting. So these are the zodiac signs that I see for you at this time, influencing you at this time. If you enjoyed this reading, please give it a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it, and it would help my channel out a lot. I would also hope that you would consider subscribing to my channel if you truly enjoyed this reading and would like to see more of the content that I have. Yes, and I would love to see you in another reading. Peace. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose this beautiful smoky quartz cluster. This is your crystal. I'm going to put it off right to the side, and we're going to get right into your reading about your energetic blind spot, okay? So you have the card, Come Together, We Need Each Other. Where have you been separating yourself or pushing against others and the world? Okay, very beautiful, very interesting. This actually reminds me a lot of pile number 2. So just right off bat, if that's something that you were called to, I would also suggest that there may be a message for you in pile number 2 as well. But this is now your message. And so a part of your energetic blind spot is you separating yourself from the world and pushing against others or what the world has to offer you. There could be a number of reasons why this is the case, why this is happening. It's going to be different for each individual, but this is a part of your energetic blind spot. And it is true in any form, in any case, that we are not meant to be isolated. We are not meant to be alone. And we are not meant to have to essentially figure things out on our own. Society has reinforced that that is the only way to live. We were born alone, we die alone. But we weren't born alone. We each came through a portal, a human. And even if that portal, that human themselves is not, on this earth, that just reinforces that we weren't born alone and we weren't meant to be alone in our life. And whether we die alone or not is a choice, I believe. Because if we spend our entire life actively separating ourselves from others, keeping ourselves from interacting with other people and being in genuine community, then it is more than likely that we will die alone. This is a dark message. It seems like a dark message, but it's really not. It's actually meant to encourage you to witness yourself and how you may have been self-isolating. So your spirit guides want you to know that a part of your blind spot is that you feel like you shouldn't need help. You shouldn't need other people. You shouldn't need to be able to lean on another individual or individuals. I think that it makes you feel self-sufficient, self-reliant. And in some ways, it's good that you have self-reliance and that you can count on yourself in order to get things done or to make things happen. But on the other hand, it's like that's also not something that you should rely on too heavily, and that you should be in a state throughout your life of learning how to trust that if you lean on support, it will not falter. So let's see what the Oracle wants you to know about this very divine message. You have the angel number 44 here. So you could be seeing a lot of fours, 444, and of that nature. You could also be seeing 888 because that breaks down to an 8. But let's see. For pile number 3, please, Spirit, what is their message about their energetic blind spot? I may have to go in and pull it out if it doesn't want to. Oh, there we go. It came out. Oh, actually 2 of them came out. Intuition and spiritual career. I literally saw these 2 while I was shuffling. That 22 breaks down to yet another 4, but I'm going to shuffle. I'm going to keep shuffling because I just need 1 card for pile number 3. Please, Spirit, 1 card. Oh, okay. So this also breaks down to an 8. You have health here. Different energies from the last 2 cards. But you have health, and again, the number 8 is going to be significantly important for you at this time in realizing certain blind spots. So like intuitively, you also have adventure at the bottom of the deck with the angel number 55. So you could be seeing 555 or 1010 quite a lot. But based on my intuition here, it's literally that the health of you and the spiritual health of your life over time is dependent on the people that you have in your life and that you allow in your life. We have the root chakra and the crown chakra represented in the health card here, which tells me that intuitively, like we saw with the intuition, you have been receiving signs or nudges, and it could be within your physical body, health-wise, that has told you that you are craving connection and craving to be connected with the world and with others. And for some reason, something has kept you from being able to listen to certain instincts, but I feel like it's getting louder and louder for you at this time. And you're wondering why you may be feeling so unhealthy, why you may be feeling so unstable, unsupported, or not well overall. And there could be, again, I'm not a health advisor, so if you do have any medical conditions, of course, take that into consideration, and also consulting a professional health advisor. But with the health card coming out, it is something that you feel in your physical body that aches to be connected to others and to other people, other energy. It just doesn't have to be just people. I think the world at large is something that you're really craving to be a part of and feel a part of. And intuitively, you may have made these connections for yourself already. You may be kind of wondering how to go past awareness and move into like, okay, so then what do I do about it? Like, what is next? And with adventure being here, supporting this health card, your spirit guides are encouraging you to adventure out, okay, to do something different than you normally would. We all have certain instincts that we rely on that keep us safe, and your instincts may lean more towards solitude, more towards, being in the house, and that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I also believe that you can have certain adventures at home as well, but what is the likelihood that you will come into interaction with other people? It depends on the adventure that you take, okay? Adventure card is just here to support and say, the change that you are looking for exists outside of your normalcy, what you do day to day, what you do every day. Okay, again, please, of course, always take what resonates for you, what makes the most sense to you, what you feel is like the most accessible to you at this current moment. But the adventure card here is saying, do not be afraid to do something a little different and out of your norm in order to feel better, in order to feel more alive and more connected to the earth. You have growth. Yes, I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. Love it. Love that for you, pile number 3, because you are growing. Your awareness and your consciousness is growing as you are listening to this reading, and as you continue to experience life. At the bottom of the deck, you do have failure, and it says, I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. Okay. And so, yeah, let's dive into this energy just a little bit. Every adventure is not going to be profound. It's not going to be great. You're not going to meet your soul tribe and find the people that you are destined to be around and to be with. Growth takes failure. It takes knowing like, okay, I don't need to do it that way any longer in order to find the way that does actually work best for you. That is growth. Growth is not always success. Growth is not always pretty. Growth is not always linear at all. It is cyclical, where we cycle through our awareness and our consciousness. So it's just like finding that perfect routine for you that makes you feel super healthy and connected to your body. Maybe it's, having daily movement, or, finding like ways. There's just, I think you know what I mean. Pile number 3, where you do things over and over again until you find out, oh, like this really works for me. Like for me personally, my wife and I, instead of eating a heavy meal before going to the gym, we'll make a smoothie. And that's just a routine that we've naturally fallen into. And so it doesn't have to be literal to health, but it is connected to your health, if that makes sense. The interactions that you have with people, they are going to fluctuate. They're going to be different in every circumstance because every person is different. But one thing that you can guarantee that your spirit guides are letting you know is that you will experience growth. Period. That is the end of the sentence, no matter what. You may be going into a situation hoping like, oh, this is it. I'm going to find my tribe. I'm going to find my people. And it's like, oh, that taught me a lot about myself instead. And much like, if you are interested in going to listen to pile number 2, much like them, don't let that perceived failure close you off to furthering your life experiences and furthering your growth potential, just because it wasn't exactly as you thought it should be. So let's see. What else do you want them to know about their energetic blind spot, please, Spirit? Pile number 3. Pile number 3, please, Spirit. You are learning a lot about yourself through others and through the world. I just believe truly, like, we are all mirrors. We are all reflections. Even some people reflect the parts of ourselves that we don't admire, or that is hard for us to find out how to love. And so there's a lot that you can learn from so many different types of people. Like, they don't have to be introverted just like you. They don't have to be artistic in your specific way. They could be a poet and you could be a sculptress, but that doesn't make the art form any less valid, of course, as an example. But I do see you having so many experiences that you didn't expect, and actually being very, the things that you experience, and that they start to show you more about yourself. You start to feel and more open yourself up to even more of that adventurous side of yourself, because you're like, okay, well, if this taught me this, then what else can I experience? And like I said, it is always great to be optimistic, but also don't put too much weight in the basket of potential, okay? Just be open to that adventure and know, okay, what comes is what comes. What am I able to make of this experience? What has it reflected back to me, either about myself or my place in this world? And, am I ready to move on to that next adventure? You have the Cypress energy here, keyword being resilience. The trigger statement says, I need to control. The true statement says, I surrender. Allow yourself to relax with the currents of life. These changes will take you even closer to where you were meant to be. And it's just like the card says, the growth that you are about to experience just from saying, oh yeah, I'll try that. Or cool, I'll meet up here, or I'll explore this creative idea, or just very spontaneous. That's what I feel with the adventure energy. Very spontaneous happenings that may pop up for you. And again, adventures don't all look alike. Adventures are not all Sagittarian. Some adventures can be very orderly or mundane, being invited with someone to go walk their dog with them. I don't know. It's probably something that you typically wouldn't always say yes to, but maybe the one time you go dog walking with your friend or acquaintance and you come across a jazz cafe that you didn't know was around the corner that just opened up from you. It's very situational. So of course, please take what resonates. But with the Cypress here, your spirit guides want you to allow yourself to relax with the currents of life. Your need to control specific things has impacted your health in a way that only you have witnessed, in the sense that maybe it has caused you anxiety or internal frustration because your need to control has not been satisfied with what you expect things to look like or to happen in your life. You expected a certain amount of growth and it didn't happen that way. So now your taste is off. You're just I'm not for it, because it's definitely, maybe you have, heard all these things about manifestation and you try it and it doesn't happen, it doesn't work like you expected it to, and you're just put off. You're like, okay, well, I tried and I'm not into it because X, Y, and Z. It's valid. Okay, those are your reasonings. But will you allow one circumstance to paint the trajectory of what all circumstances may or may not look like? That, I feel like, is something that you're trying to overcome and to become more resilient in, and saying like, okay, every situation is going to be different. It just is. And there's no way for me to know it until I'm in it, experiencing it. Okay. At the bottom of the deck, you have Clary Sage with the keyword being insight. Trigger statement says there is no hope. True statement says there is a higher purpose. Connect with your higher self and allow, again, to be guided to your highest purpose. As the veil of illusion falls away, you will find your answer. So right now, you're pretty much like trying to just learn how to go with the flow, learn how to go with the adventure, not take things quite as seriously, because again, the seriousness that you have the ability to hold, it's powerful, and so powerful that your health, again, is yet affected by your need to control. So rather than there is no hope, look at the higher purpose of all things, as many things as you possibly can in this life, because things are connected. The reason why you're receiving this message is probably very loud and clear to you, and that is a spiritual connection that you may or may not have made without hearing this message. So there is a higher purpose to all things. Look deeply into things. Try to build your connection to your intuition at this time, and fortify that relationship with your intuition so that you can know, like, oh, I'm meant to look at the higher purpose of this event or this situation, rather than disconnecting and like going back into that shell because I was proven right or wrong. You have the root chakra yet again, because the health card is with the root and crown. I think I mentioned that. And the heart chakra at the bottom of the deck. Some repeating cards coming out for you. But of course, again, if you felt called to another pile, that is totally up to you. The root chakra is connected to self-sufficiency. We were talking about that, pile number 3. By finding material security without being materialistic, I will gain satisfaction, stability, and inner strength. I am resourceful. I put in the effort to be responsible for supplying fundamental needs in my life, such as shelter, food, water, and clothing. Okay, and so before we move on to the next stanza, I put in the effort to be responsible. What does that mean? That means that you are not solely responsible for your fundamental needs, okay? This is how I was mentioning it in one of the other piles, that there are systemic oppressors, systemic things that have a certain level of control over our financial safety, our security, and things like food, water, and clothing. I understand that this is not something that is always accessible, easily accessible to other people. So I want to point out that when it says you put in the effort to be responsible, that means that you are able to take whatever small actions that you can in order to supply your fundamental needs, whatever steps forward that you can to do that. And I do believe that you are a very responsible person. Pile number 3, this is not to, try to demean you in any way or offend you in any way. This is just me saying, like, I want to be aware of the tone of that sentence so that it doesn't come off wrong to others. Like putting certain responsibilities or burdens onto your shoulder and saying, well, if you don't lift this heavy weight, it's your fault that the weight is not off of you. And that doesn't make sense because we do have external forces that determine the quality of our life a lot of the times. Just want to point that out there. And I hope that everyone watching this pile can be in agreement with the one statement of that circumstances get the best of all types of people. And to be able to supply yourself with fundamental needs is a privilege and a blessing to be able to do those things. So not everyone has that access. But this next stanza says, I take responsibility for where I now find myself in life as I move forward. I get in touch with and trust my innate wisdom, that intuition, which tells me that I will be provided with all I need. Okay. And so this root chakra feels very, very connected in some specific way to what we have been talking about needing others. And how, I see you in the near future taking responsibility for where you find yourself in regards to other people and connected to other people, where you have definitely been self-sufficient to the deficiency of your own health, where you have taken on a lot of responsibilities because the world has told you you are solely responsible for your own needs. And it's a crock of bullshit, okay? If I can just be frank and blunt, pile number 3, it is, we are all born into this world with no manual and no how to. Even when people have pointed to that person and said, well, they did it, why can't you? That person is not me. They may have not even had the same or similar life experiences as me. And even if they did, that doesn't mean that we were supposed to figure it out in the exact same way. Some people need more support. Some people need more clarity because life is an uncertain roller coaster that happens to all of us. And we all are meant to figure it out and to figure out our part, but we're definitely not meant to do it alone. And so this is the energetic blind spot that I see you in right now, where you feel like this is my responsibility. This is mine. And I just can't possibly give it to anyone else because they wouldn't understand anyway. And more than likely, you could be right. Everyone's not going to understand. Everyone's not going to be so open-minded and have a specific perspective that helps you to entrust them to lean on and support. But there are people out there waiting for you to meet them in the middle where they can then be that support. And it won't happen unless you journey outward to come together with another energy and to connect. So again, journeying outside of what you're typically used to, and especially with the self-sufficiency and fundamental needs, doing that doesn't have to cost money, okay? There are a number of ways to get into contact with people with no cost. Maybe it's to journey to a library or to journey to a free working space. The park is a free resource as well. And people exist all over the world. Okay, you have to put yourself out there. You have to feel it intuitively, and you have to show up as yourself for each circumstance. At the bottom of the deck, you do have the heart chakra with generosity. And this card says, generosity is sharing. I give myself freely and I am open to opportunities to do so. I do this because I can and I expect nothing in return. Speaking from the heart will let those around me know how I feel about them. My generosity will touch another person's heart and replenish their spirit. Through love, I have a positive, spontaneous, and lasting influence on the healing and transformation of both myself and others, okay? You have this beautiful ability when you are connected to people to help them transform and to transform yourself as well. You have a very generous spirit. And maybe that has placed you in some detrimental experiences, where, I don't know, I'm hearing with the 8 energy where debt may have been involved, where you have maybe felt indebted to another person, or where literal actual like currency debt has been built up because you have been so generous of spirit, and have given so freely of yourself. And so with the generosity card, just be aware of your generous spirit. Be aware of how freely you give of yourself. And yes, while that will open you up to opportunities and possibilities, don't let someone come in and see that generous spirit and take advantage of it. Because of this energy mixed with the where have you been separating yourself or pushing against the world, you may have had many experiences where you have just not felt safe to be your generous and kind self. And I think what it looks like to take responsibility over this is to introduce healthier and stronger boundaries where you can exist as yourself in the environments where you're meant to be and still not feel taken advantage of, knowing just when to give enough and when to reserve enough for yourself as well. So this learning is going to have a positive influence over your life where you're going to feel less and less the need to disconnect and detach from others and learn like, okay, let's try something a little bit different. Let's try something a little bit new, different than the way I've done it in the past, where like I have had this complex to save other people because I have wished that someone would do the same for me and save me. We cannot save other people, pile number 3. And I believe this strongly. We can only be that reflective support for one another. We're not meant to stand for someone else, like in the sense like where they cannot stand on their own feet. They ask you to. It's complicated. It's complicated. It's a complicated statement that I want to make sure I express correctly because, again, I feel like you have a lot of beliefs about people and their inability to support you because of what you carry is so heavy. But there is this blurry, brief, thin line of boundary that shouldn't be crossed going into that savior complex, trying to save someone from themselves and their choices. Okay. So I hope that I have expressed this clearly enough so that you understand it doesn't mean to not extend yourself for another, because that is what you have. So you have such a hard time allowing someone to extend for you. You'll extend all day if it really came to it. But your spirit guides want me to communicate this very effectively and very clearly, that there is a difference. I think they think that you know the difference. I'm hoping that you do. That there comes a time where you cannot step into self-demise at the hand of another or for the cause of another. Okay. That is where your health comes in. That's when your health starts to kick in and your body is saying, I'm exhausted. I'm burnt out. I'm tired. I have no resources left for myself. Thus, I have no resources left for anyone else because I am drained. Okay. So before getting to that part, just realize like you are a generous spirit and protect that energy. Protect it. This is the part of your growth. This is the part of the energetic blind spot that is being revealed to you at this time, where you are surrendering to the understanding like, okay, something has to change and it has to start with me. And it's something that I tell my wife all the time. There will always be a need that needs to be filled. You know it because I'm sure throughout your life, some of your fundamental needs have not been met. Maybe you were able to have food, but your clothing was, outdated because priority is the food, right? outdated in the sense like you need a new coat because it's worn. You need new socks because they're worn out. You need new shoes because they're worn out. Those fundamental needs that a lot of people have access to, but they don't think about it for a second thought. Okay. For you, it has been important that you have this awareness that everyone's needs are not being met. And if I can do something about it, I'd love to. I'd love to fix the world. I'd love to make it whole again. I'd love to make it so that no one goes to sleep hungry and no one goes to sleep cold. And that generosity in you will continue to fuel you until you have no more fuel left. So just check in, and observe yourself, witness, like, okay, this is something I need to grow in. Because like I mentioned, you have gone without in life, and it has colored the way that you interact with other people, and that may have gotten overwhelming. It may have gotten too much. So you've detached, you've separated, and that has also not worked for you either. So where is that happy balance, that happy medium? Okay, Three of Cups. Yes, it comes through celebration. It comes through lighthearted good times. It comes through putting the worry on the back burner because it's gonna always be there. Like I said, people are always gonna be in need. You're always gonna have this ability at some point to fulfill someone else's need, because they will always be there. But the Three of Cups is saying, for right now, let us enjoy what we have worked so hard for. Let us enjoy life because we are alive, and that is a beautiful experience that not everyone gets to have today, or tomorrow. So I'm going to live. I'm going to celebrate with my people, and uplift myself and uplift the life journey that we are on. I feel like this Three of Cups is such a beautiful anchor for you during this reading, because it lets you know, like, there are like-hearted, not like-minded, like-hearted individuals out there, and maybe very much so in your life, present day, just waiting for you to come outside again, and not in the literal sense, because this is a channel that is actively aware that there are certain I don't want to COVID is still out there. COVID is very much still real. And it hasn't gone anywhere. And I hope that my consciousness and my awareness does not make you uneasy. Pile number 3. But the Three of Cups is saying, let us enjoy ourselves in this safe environment. Let us be free in this safe environment. Let us not be judgmental. Let us not be pessimistic even about the future of the world in this environment. Let us just come together for this moment and be in healthy love and communion with one another. You have that accessible in your life as I am talking to you, because the Three of Cups would not show up if it wasn't something that is absolutely a possibility in your life. You may not have a lot of people to do this with, and it only takes so many with the Three of Cups. It doesn't have to be a lot of people, because a lot of people brings a lot of different energy, right? Just those like-hearted few where you're like, let me celebrate life, like right here, right now. And unexpectedly, in the midst of something that seems so, I'm not just going to keep saying lighthearted, but seems so mundane, or something that we could easily take advantage of because we have just amazing people in our life, it will start to expand your consciousness of like, oh, wow, people are really out here alone. People are out here really alone. Like, they don't have those go-to people that can be deep, that can talk about real things, but that can also celebrate life in spite of the darkness. Some people just exist in their darkness and they're continuously pushing against the world because all they see is that darkness. So you have this light. There are some people around you or a person around you who really wants to be able to be there more for you, allow you to lean as they lean, allow you to rest as they rest, that encourages you to persevere is a word that has been coming up quite a lot, along this path of like nourishing your needs in life. Because sometimes that's really all that it's about. Sometimes, and a lot of people will focus on fame, they will focus on racks, they will focus on, such earthly matters, that they rarely get in touch with that spiritual, emotional part of life. And so for you, you really want, I see you, I'm witnessing you want to make the most of what others may take advantage of or what others may not have represented in their life at all, which is genuine connection and love and respect and reciprocity and celebration of life. Joy is even something that could be brought up here. You have the Five of Pentacles and it was in reverse, so I'm going to keep it as such. But this is those fundamental needs that I feel. You have felt like I have not had access to like a good meal or a warm home or a warm coat or something that I don't have to get so specific about. But the Five of Pentacles in reverse is saying like, wow, like where I saw what I didn't have has transformed in some way. My consciousness around the lack that exists in my life has expanded in some way. And yes, this is something that my mom says, I may not be the richest, but I have absolutely learned how to rub these pennies together and make gold. That's not exactly how she has said it, but it is a reflection of like, I have everything that I need. And that is such a trivial statement because maybe it doesn't feel like that. But if you have your health, you have a milestone. Something that, again, easily taken for granted in this able-bodied, focused society. Okay? And please research what that means if you do not know. But it means like if you have your health, you are exceeding in life. If you have good love, good friendship, genuine connection where you feel like, oh, my people are my outlet, you are succeeding in life. And your spirit guides don't want you to pull away from that because things feel unstable for you. I don't want to, overextend and promise you something physically in the world, financially, materially, that again may or may not manifest however it's meant to in your life. Pile number 3, I want you to know the Five of Pentacles just says, place down your worry wherever you can. The worry will be there tomorrow. And if you have allowed yourself a break from that worry, you have allowed your body to rest for a moment. Worrying does not change the outcome. It does not change the trajectory. It affects you deeply. But worrying changes very, very little. So the Five of Pentacles is in reverse is telling you, let that worry go, sit it down. It'll be there for you tomorrow. And the moment and joy come together, be present, soak in that richness of community, big or small, and allow yourself to grow in that moment and realize like, wow, if it weren't for society placing high ass rent, expensive ass groceries, and all the other things that makes it feel impossible to live a healthy life, and it weren't for all of those systemic things that affect me on a day-to-day, life could literally just be perfect. It could literally just be just like this for everyone. Of course, that isn't ideal. The system that we were born into is a system that exists. And so rather than spending our entire existence frustratingly trying to dismantle that system brick by brick, we take a step back and we look and we say, hey, I can actually build something over here. Maybe it's little, maybe it's quaint, but it's something of sustenance. And that rarely exists in today's society. Okay, this is real deep. Pile number 3. I hope you're enjoying the reading so far. That just felt like such a strong message for you, and I hope that you were able to receive it well. Let's see what else. What other tarot cards do you want to come out for pile number 3? Please, Spirit. Pile number 3. Yep. You have the World card. I'm not going to take these in reverse, even though they clearly hop, skipped, and jumped into reverse. I'm going to keep them upright because that's what I want to do. I feel like you deserve some upright energy. Other than the 5 of Pentacles, of course. You have the World card. So beautiful. This is representative of all of the fixed energies. So we have Taurus, Leo. I believe this is Scorpio, represented through the eagle, and Aquarius. Fixed energy represented the World card. Okay, 10 of Pentacles. I said that because I got really excited for you. But, okay, so I mentioned not being able to, or not wanting to, not being able to, not wanting to give empty promises of fortune and hardship ending. Because 5 in reverse, that's change that you weren't expecting. And the 5 of Pentacles in reverse is like, okay, I have come into a little bit of change. And maybe that could be why the 3 of Cups is here to celebrate you and say like, oh, bitch, you did it. Like, you know, in a way. But yeah, the 10 of Pentacles is here. And I have been thinking about the 10 of Pentacles a little bit recently, just about how a legacy is a lifetime. It is the whole lifespan. It is from your birth, which you may have been born into unideal and really tough situations that have given you a specific outlook on money and resources. A majority of your life, you have seen people under-resourced versus bountifully resourced. But by the end of your life, pile number 3, I see the 10 of Pentacles as that promise that not everyone receives, of saying like, you built your legacy. And like I mentioned, it started off quaint. And you can't see this now because you are nowhere near the end of your life, pile number 3. But I want you to know, like, with connectedness, with awareness, the world is open to you in unspeakable ways, actually. Unspeakable ways. So the 10 of Pentacles is saying like, you are building and you are at the beginning stages of that growth, but you are building, and it is something substantial. It is something beautiful. It is something collective base. You have input that guides you, like genuine heart-centered input that guides you. And it is leading you to build a legacy like no other. And that makes me think, honestly, about a lot of different pioneers who have built things from nothing for the people that they love and care about. For a specific personal example, if I may, my wife is a queer, a queer, gender non-conforming, non-binary person who has built something out of nothing for the people who she knows is typically left outside of the binary, that's left outside of the, harsh systemic features that have been built into the society. She has built a job board, a remote job board for inclusivity and for allies who recognize that the queer community at large, and that is the umbrella of the LGBTQIA plus community at large, has been just completely dismissed, not registered within the remote work community, and how, there is value in working remotely. There is safety in working remotely for those who feel, again, outside of the binary, outside of the normalcy, the heteronormative, structure of the world. And so it's just an example, of course, but it's something that was meaningful and continues to be meaningful and impactful simply because they built it around community, around a fundamental need that was lacking, and that she absolutely witnessed being a lack of direct inclusivity and naming that marginalized people deserve to feel safe, especially within workspaces. Okay. So I see you doing something that is of a similar note. It also makes me think of, those people who create specific spaces. Like, again, this is a queer household. Okay. Pile number 3. So, creating inclusive libraries, bookshops, bookstores. Those are really just what came to mind first. But bars or clubs, things that are inclusive for those who feel left outside. And that's something that you've dealt with all throughout your life, is being felt like I'm left outside. I'm left out in the cold. I have no one. I'm not really connected. And more, you're growing in consciousness, growing in understanding and awareness that you have something with this 3 of Cups here. And it's going to grow into even more with this 10 of Pentacles. Something long-standing, stable, healthy, rich, wealthy, without lack, and community-based, inclusive is what I also hear. With the World card, I do believe this card is ruled by Aquarius, which is the notorious zodiac outsider. So that may be a zodiac energy that is in your birth chart, or that you typically surround yourself around. You have the Page of Wands. Look at this. Look at how lovely and vibrant and short in stature this person is. And even as a page, someone who is new to the scene, new to the vibe of the Wands court specifically. Even as a page, you still have confidence, because what you know is what you know. Okay. Again, another example, I tell my wife all the time, do not be afraid to speak on what you know, because you've lived it, so you know it. Your life experience is all the knowledge that you need in certain circumstances. If you want to know more, okay, research. But do not downplay the life experiences that have led you to even want to research more about what it is that you already know. So the Page of Wands is telling me, to let you know, to be ferocious in whatever studies or experiments that you want to partake in. Be adventurous, because we had that energy coming out for you. Be adventurous, curious, explorative, and know that there are things that you don't need to worry about at this time of exploration, because that will only cloud the experience in itself. The worrying will cloud the experience. So let yourself be sure-footed. Even if maybe you don't feel it 100% just yet, let yourself step as assuredly as you can into new adventures, and let your mind be curious and wonder and imagine things up that don't actually currently exist right now, or maybe it doesn't exist in the state in which you envision it. I see you like bursting out of this energetic blind spot and saying, my perspective has been severely shifted. My consciousness has been exponentially expanded. And I'm excited. I'm excited that there's more to this struggle. Again, society will always confirm and affirm the struggle. They will never show you a way out. Rarely. They will give you some sticks and a shovel and say, you choose what you think will get you out of this. And I see you surprising yourself at being able to do just that. And to say, I'm not going to accept this. I'm going to grow from this. And I'm going to witness myself expand in beautiful and harmonious ways. You have the 4 of Cups here, or no? No, the 6 of Cups. Oh, yes. Oh, that's so beautiful. The 6 of Cups, letting you know that you are resourced and you are a resource. I look at this as like, when you are in times of need, there is someone here. And when that cup is filled, then you are able to do this for another. It's a give and take. It's a give and take. Growing up, you may have taken care of a lot of people in many different ways, financially, emotionally, spiritually. And again, that was a lot on your health. It took a toll on you. It made you detach in a way that was like, I just can't do this anymore. But I think you're finding a new why, a new reason to be connected. And it's not just to save the world from itself. It's to be a part of the world. It's to be able to experience love and new hope and new blossoms. It's not just to be in isolation and say, well, if I can't fix it, I can't be a part of it. You're finding a new way around that, okay? So I'm going to shuffle one crystal oracle for you as your final message in regards to your energetic blind spot. And then I'm going to use the astro dice to round up the end of your reading. Okay, so pile number 3, please, Spirit. What is their final message? Pile number 3. Pile number 3. Alrighty. So at the bottom of the deck, let's start with that. You have the Wolfenite, and this is what that one looks like. Beautiful, fiery. And I'm going to read this one after we read the next one. This is the actual crystal that came out for you. Very beautiful. Divinely connected to your heart chakra, I believe, just because of all that green. And this is a chrysocolla. Yeah, I think I said that right. It is connected to the zodiac sign Gemini, Virgo, and Taurus. It is also connected to the planet Venus. And the keywords are earth, unconditional love, and cleanse. Okay. Known for cleansing the aura of toxins, Chrysocolla is a great crystal to use when experiencing high stress levels and burnout, of course. The surface of Chrysocolla resembles pristine oceanic views, and this aerial vantage point helps you gain perspective on situations hitting too close to home. Take a step back when those situations arise, and remember to prioritize your needs first. Deeply connected to the energy of the earth, the Chrysocolla reminds us to get in touch with our feminine side, the part of us connected to our capacity for unconditional love. And so when it says feminine side, it means that yin energy that we all hold. We all hold the capacity, the yin ability to nourish and deeply love and care for ourselves and others. And that is what it means with that feminine side. Okay, I just want to be clear. But this is your crystal, and it is absolutely reinforcing your entire message. Okay. And then the Wolfenite, the keywords are journey, past life, and soul contracts. It is connected to the zodiac Sagittarius and the planets Venus and Mars. And this card says, the journey has only just begun. We love it for you. Wolfenite can travel through your past, present, and future and opens up communication with the spirit world. It also aids in past life recognition, helping you to see soul contracts that you've made in this lifetime, facilitating the karmic reunion and completing of a cycle once the lesson has been learned. Wolfenite is a powerful past life healing stone, resolving any issues that need to be faced and regaining magic lost in past lives to be used here and now. Okay, and that is your final crystal message. And now, as I promised, I will roll the astro dice 3 times just to see any prominent zodiac energy in your life right now. You have Cancer. Okay. Cancer is that nurturing and nourishing, beautiful water energy. You also have, okay, Cancer again. Maybe you could be a double Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. But let's try to get 2 more energies. You have Capricorn, which is actually directly opposing to Cancer. So sometimes the earthly matters, they really do get to you. And for a large portion of your life, I'm sure it was a focal point. But now you have all that Cancer, honey. Okay, so Cancer, Capricorn. Let's see, who else? Leo energy coming out for you. And we're going to do just one more. Taurus, of course. Nice and grounding for you to end your reading. Pile number 3. I truly and deeply hope that you enjoyed this reading, that it resonated for you deeply. And if it did, please give a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. I would love it if you decided to subscribe to my channel so that you can continue to interact with my content. And I can't wait to see you in another reading. Peace. Hello, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading. You chose this beautiful crystal. And this is the crystal that was most connected to your energy. I'm going to set it off to the side and we're going to get right into your reading. And your card says, eliminate distractions. Stop shining light on things you are not. Okay. How can you reclaim your power? And so this is the overall effect. This is the overall message around your energetic blind spot. You have been distracted. And it is because you have been expelling your light, shining it onto other things that are not you. And it has actually taken parts of your power. It has made you feel not powerless, but without the power that you are used to or reliant upon your own self-power. So we're going to get into what this distraction could be, how you can overcome it by shining your light on yourself and those things that reflect you and reflect your energy, and how you can reclaim your power. So let's take a look at the oracle to see what further messages that we can get for you. Pile number 4. Pile number 4, please, Spirit. Pile number 4. Pile number 4, please, Spirit. Okay, you have rebirth. I love that. I do love that. Rebirth with the spiritual career at the bottom of the deck. The rebirth card is connected to the angel number 7. And this your first card out was connected to the angel number 10. So you could be seeing 777 or 1010 in many different forms. But you have a rebirth going on for you at this current moment, and it's all centered around your spiritual career. So there are a number of things that you could be doing as a spiritualist for your career professionally. And that is potentially how you make your living. There is a rebirth that you are facing at this time, again, because you have been a bit distracted. You have the throat chakra here and the root chakra connected to this rebirth card, which means that there is something that is not only needing to be expressed, but needing to be like your awareness is needing to come to the realization that you have been giving your power away. Maybe it has been freely, maybe it has been sparsely. Either way, there is this energy of you expelling parts of yourself or deflecting from parts of yourself to shine upon something else or someone else. And this is a blind spot for you because you are meant to be in your power in this lifetime. And that's not to say that you haven't been. You absolutely have been. And at some point, the trajectory has shifted ever so slightly, in the sense that you have taken what was meant for you to shine a light on and kind of place the light outside of you. I hope that this is making sense. But something that you were meant to either, praise yourself for or acknowledge within yourself, something that makes you see yourself as powerful and to know this as a statement, as a fact, has been diminished in some way because you have been, as we mentioned, distracted. And so this rebirth is taking place and it's very strong. It's happening at the root of you, with the root chakra here. Something about your value system, your beliefs, your, like, the ground that you stand on metaphysically is shifting for you to be connected with yourself in a deeper way. You're seeing yourself in a different light. It's very enlightening, but it also may be a bit uncomfortable or painful for you to recognize because you realize that you have been, as it says, shining light on things you are not. And I feel like you could take this in a number of different ways. Maybe it's you shining light on things that you are not in a way that says, how can I be this and when this is what I am not? How can I do this when this is what I am not naturally? So there may be an interplay of that energy as well here. And your spirit guides are needing you to cut it out in a gentle and loving way. They need you to recognize what this action looks like for you in your life specifically, how you deflect from yourself in your power, and your right to be viewed as a leader or viewed as someone who has authority over their own life and has authority over their own power. I'm going to get more meaning, more messages from this energy through the oracle for pile number 4, please, Spirit. Pile number 4. How are they reclaiming their power? I love that. Success. I know that there is no greater goal than to love. Wow. This is how you are reclaiming that power, through love, through knowing that the goal is love, especially because we have the spiritual career coming out to support this other energy. It feels almost as if it's so it's so interesting to hear people's messages of, oh, money is not the goal. And yet money is also how the bills get paid. So it's like you're trying to hold all realities, all truths at once. And it's difficult. It may feel difficult for you to say that money is not the motivation or shouldn't be the motivation. You want to be successful in your career. You want to have a successful spiritual career. And yet you know that there is no greater goal than to be able to experience love authentically, genuinely, and wholly in this lifetime. And that the other success that comes in life is benefit. It benefits that love. It creates a stable environment for that love to grow healthy and nourishing. And yet, again, two truths, two sides of a coin. Which is more important? I don't think one is more important than the other. It's important to have your fundamental needs taken care of, but it's also important to have genuine connections in your life that you can reflect back on towards the end of your life and say, like, wow, I lived fully. I lived to the fullest. And I have very little regrets because I was able to find success in the material plane, but also find it emotionally and spiritually as well. So that may be a part of the stop shining light on things you are not, because your focal point has been success oriented, material based, results oriented specifically. And again, although those things are important, essential, you know that it's not realistic. You know that it's not realistic to, or not just that you understand it is not realistic to place one above the other. So the very real, the very strong and potent and powerful rebirth that you are facing right now is viewing yourself as successful without needing the material to validate the success of your life. Knowing that, many material things are just distractions. If we could simplify it at the end of the day, many material things are a distraction and they distract us from genuinely connecting and being present and knowing that our life is successful when we feel the most nurtured. And that also includes the physical elements. So I think you're in this balancing state of knowing and feeling, but also having the urge still and yet to succeed and achieve either financially or materially. At the bottom of the deck, you have blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. And this is a message that is similar to one of the other piles, but I want to reiterate it specifically for you. Pile number 4, that when we speak of responsibility, we speak of the things that are actually in our control and how some things systemically are out of our control. We don't have a say on how humans are treated within society as a whole. We can only do our part. And so the responsibility that you have for your well-being are the things that you actually have control over. Maybe it is not how much finances that you make that you have a direct control over, but it is the relationships that exist in your life that you have control over, and who you allow in your life that uplifts you and lets you know, I see you trying to balance these two things, and I'm here to support you and to uplift you and to know that you are successful. Okay, so, everyone in your life is not going to be able to do that directly or provide this perspective for you all the time. But it is something, again, the responsibility lies in having those type of people, those archetypes in your life that do have this outlook or a similar outlook, and who is on their own journey and looking to shed or shine light. I was going to say shed light, but shine light more so directly on their path and the success that already exists in their life. I think you may be surrounding yourself at this time or in the near future with people who have definitely been trying to shine more light on themselves, and not in a self-centered, egotistical way, but in a way that is like, how often do I tell myself that I'm proud of myself? Well, let me do it right here. Let me tell myself that I'm proud of myself for waking up this morning, for, being as motivated as I am, whether that's a little or a lot, to make my life even a particle bit more better, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, having that type of energy represented in your life gives you hope and faith, and it doesn't distract you from your ultimate goals, which is love, security, and nurturance. I'm going to add to the success card: love, security, and nurturance. That's all, that's all that we can ask of from life. For the most part, it's like those can, I'm sure, break down a lot more. But there's like, life is complex, and to focus on one area of life until you feel like you are successful means that there are other areas of your life that are being left without. So the rebirth takes place when you are able to focus on not only work, but your spirituality outside of work, not only spirituality or work, but your relationships, personal, romantic, intimate, family, non-personal relationships. How do you interact with the world? How do you let the world see you? How do you let the world witness your own power? Okay. All those different aspects are being touched on at this current time. I think your your energetic blind spot has been a focal point that has felt detrimental to the fact you have focused here so strongly, and now you feel like there's something missing. And your spirit guides want you to know that there is nothing missing. You have the ability to accept where you are right now in life and also make it better in regards to your well-being. And there's always more that you can focus on making well within you. This is not hyper I'm going to fix myself. There's nothing broken or wrong about you. Pile number 4. This is your well-being is your spirit, the comfort of your spirit, and how comfortable you are in this world, and what aspects of that can you hold yourself accountable for and making better or improving. And that starts with the people that we hang around, the content, the media that we consume. What are we witnessing and seeing on a day-to-day, and how is that impacting us and what we believe about ourselves and what we feel about our life and our purpose? So I'm going to keep shuffling. We're going to get further into the message and see what else it is that Spirit wants you to know about this energetic blind spot and how you are being reborn from it. Pile number 4, please, Spirit. Pile number 4. Okay, 1 flew out, and that's the one for you. You have cleansing, with the keyword being purification. Trigger statement: their opinion matters to me. True statement: I see things in a new way. As you release external influences and energy, you will become clear with regard to what is needed. I love that. Cleansing. Yet another message that is, meant for me to repeat in case you have seen multiple piles of this reading. Cleansing, clearing the energy that exists within your relationships does not mean to cut someone off. Because if you are, influenced by culture or media in any way, then you realize that we are in the midst of cutoff culture where people are encouraging to cut someone off simply because there is a dissonance or a disregarding in energies. And while that may be the case, that a lot of people do need to hear that message, because we settle in relationships a lot of the time, that is not a one size fits all type of approach to relating to other people. It may leave people more isolated than connected, and the intention is connection. So cleansing the connections that exist within your life, their opinions matter to you. I'm sure that's a hard influence to break, especially if it's familial, and family has a lot of influence over the ways in which we enact in life. So it may be difficult for you to, what's the word? Lessen the validity of another person's opinion over your life. It may be difficult to do that because if someone cares about us, they're going to tell us when something is wrong in our life, right? That's what we have been told. If people care, they're going to tell us that we're doing something wrong. But that energy is not always productive. It's not always healthy. Actually, when people feel like they have an opinion on something that we're doing wrong, it's wrong because they wouldn't do it that way and they weren't meant to. That is a very much so fact. So if you feel as if someone's opinion is directly affecting the way that you do or do not view yourself as successful in this life, then that will always affect how you view yourself in life. And the external influence will always make you feel as if your focus should be on something else rather than what you are focused on. So for example, because I've been getting very personal in these readings, so why not? Before I got into this as my professional career as a tarot reader and astrologer, I was highly recommended and encouraged to not only pick up one, like mediocre paying job. I was encouraged to pick up 3 mediocrely paying jobs to be able to provide for myself, to work hard and hustle. I was encouraged to work in hospitality, working in the hospital, literally in a hospital, which I am not saying there's anything wrong with that profession. I'm saying it wasn't for me. And if I would have continued to listen to external influences, I would have gone down a path that wasn't for me. And I'm not saying this to say that you are not strong-minded or sure of yourself in any way. I'm saying that we are, I don't know the proper saying or the proper terminology for this, but we are community-based mammals. Like, we thrive in community. We work together as a system, as an ecosystem, as as one in a lot of different ways. We make up, like, the human species makes up so many different types. There's no same person. There's no 2 people that are exactly the same. And yet we all are meant to do things differently. We're meant to do things our way. So with that influence, if you're not doing things your way, you're not really doing the things that you say that you want to do. And so I see you, as you are stepping outside of this energetic blind spot, I see you seeing things in a new way. Your vision is being reborn. You're witnessing yourself, change your focal point for success and viewing yourself present day as successful without the external validation or not even just validation, but the external energy that says, well, this is what it would really look like for you to be successful. You have cinnamon at the bottom of the deck with the keyword being intimacy. Trigger statement says, this is too good to be true. True statement, it can only get better. Allow yourself to experience more joy and love. Raise your resonance by swimming in the sweetness of life. Okay, so your spirit guides are wanting you to say, this is really it. And it's literally, it can only get better from here. And if you believe that, if you live in that intimacy, where some people will say, you're being too idealistic, you're not being realistic enough. If you live in that, it is your truth. No one can take that truth away because you feel it with a reality that is beyond what anyone else can say is true or false. No one can disprove. They physically cannot disprove something that you are actively living in. And so allow the goodness, allow the wellness to exist in your life, and know that it is true. Know that it is meant to be true, and know that when you stumble upon it, you're on the right path. And the only thing that can lead you astray is your disbelief in the goodness that exists in your life. People are going to say, no, there's no way that you make up your own schedule, get paid what you want to get paid, and still have time for friends and family, and to live and exist and enjoy life in a healthy way. There's just no way you will have all those things. Something must be sacrificed. And the only response to that is, if something is to be sacrificed, it's not something that deters me from viewing my life as successful. Everyone has to sacrifice something. Time, energy, space, money. But some people enjoy sacrificing those things in order to gain something greater. And the goal is love. That's the goal. It's to gain a love of self, a love of what you do, a love of your community and who you do it for. And sometimes that goes beyond the self. It goes beyond the material as well. And it gets directly and deeply into a feeling. I hope I'm making sense. Power number 4. I hope I'm making sense. You have the root chakra with instinct, and you have the heart chakra with acceptance of self. So I'm going to read both of these for you. The root chakra says, I trust that my instincts are correct, and I let my natural, intuitive feelings guide me forward. I will know what I need to do, and how to respond with wisdom to situations that come my way. I have an innate desire to be of service in life. As I tap into that feeling, I will know what service I am called to do. I believe in myself. So you are tapping into the feeling. What did we just say? When it feels right, it's right, and there's no questions about it because of that feeling that you get. When you know you're in the right spot, there's no questioning it because you're so presently in that space that it just feels right. And again, the external energy, the distractions, the loud voices, the opinionated folks, they will make it seem like you're not doing enough. It doesn't look like you're doing enough. It doesn't look like you're struggling hard enough to be able to even enjoy what it is that you're enjoying. Believe in yourself. You have so much throat chakra. You have so much root chakra represented in just these few cards here, which tells me stand firm. Stand firm in your faith in yourself and believe in yourself and know that your instincts are spot on. You're doing exactly what it is that you're meant to be doing. Trust that your instincts are correct and let your natural, intuitive feelings guide you forward. You can't take everyone's opinion as gospel. You can't take everyone's opinion as fact. You do have to purify that habit so that you know when it is your instinct, know when it is your intuition that is speaking to you directly. If it is someone else's, you are living someone else's life and you are shining light on things that are not you. When you go for that job that you know that you'll end up leaving in the next 3 months anyway, because it's not exactly what you want to do, you're shining a light on something that you are not. You're trying to make yourself fit somewhere that you do not belong. And again, while success, it goes beyond love, it goes beyond good feelings, and it gets really down to that nitty gritty, are my bills paid? There is a way intuitively meant for you to find that resource of like your needs being met while also holding on to your integrity. The heart chakra, acceptance of self, it says, it's time to rejuvenate myself, rebirth, by giving myself love. I accept myself the way I am, and I remind myself that I cannot feel any better about life than how I feel about myself. I will not wait a moment longer to accept myself. I honor what my body is asking for, and if I'm unsure, I will ask myself, what can I do to be a healthier and more balanced than I am now? I dwell upon all that is right in my life, not what is wrong, and I have gratitude. I accept my life as it is now, and I move forward from here. So I see you. I see you charging forward, moving past the doubt, moving past, not accepting yourself or any kind of self-demising behavior. I see you moving past that in order to embrace yourself fully, embrace your path fully as well. Again, this is a solitary path, not one where you're meant to be alone, but one where you're meant to travel by yourself and to have other people witness you be strong-footed, sure-footed, and not swayed to do something outside of your own natural character or your own natural interests. Because I do believe like what we're interested in is what we're meant to give back to this world, through art form, through spirituality, through all different types of things. And again, that can't happen when we are trying to force it to come out from something else. So for another brief example, I've had a few customer service positions in different industries, and I thought that I was like the customer service guru. Like I thought, I'm so personable, I connect with people easily, I'm able to talk to people, find out what they need and help them with that. And while these things were true, very much a truth of mine, it didn't mean that I was meant to take it to any specific industry other than the one that I found myself in, which is spirituality. I find great honor in being able to provide readings like this beyond any of the services that I've tried to do in the past. It took all of those things that I really enjoyed about myself and that I thought I was supposed to put into a professional career, and it accumulated into this spiritual career that I'm honored to be able to do spirits work and to be able to bring customer service to spirituality in a way that makes it very personal. Even though this is a public reading that anyone can access, I genuinely am proud of the ability to make it feel personal, even though I may never know who watches these readings and who receives this message. Okay, so I think that this is something that you can reflect on as well, saying, I have X, Y, and Z talents. I'm like beyond in this atmosphere, and I keep trying to force it in this box, or I keep hearing people tell me I should do this, I should do that with that, because they see my gifts and my talents and they think that it belongs somewhere, and maybe it's exactly where it's meant to be. Okay, you have the death card. Talk about rebirth, honey. And I know people have a feeling or feelings around death. Seeing this card may ignite that. I want you to take a deep breath and realize that this actually is a card signifying great and transformational change that is happening in your life. The hands here, the prayer hands here, I'm not sure if any of you listen to Drake, but it's absolutely reminding me of that one album that I can't remember the name of. So if you know, you know, honey, you know, you may hear a message through that album. But this death card symbolizes transformation that is irreversible. This is your rebirth. This is where something sheds, something decomposes, something transforms into a form that it is no longer. And it lets you know, I'm starting a new chapter. I'm starting a new page. I'm being reborn. And your power is through this transformation. It may feel scary. It may feel like, oh, this is a point of no return. Like I can't go back after this. And yet it's all of your cards are talking about moving forward. And so that means you're not meant to go back. You're meant to purify where you are at in this stage and push forward with your dreams and your desires, your actual authentic goals, not a version of your goals that you think that you can enact in a more practical or logical way. Sometimes success is not logical. We hear all the time the success stories where people are like, I took a risk, I took a leap. Of course, take what resonates. And it worked out for me in ways that I couldn't imagine. And of course, you won't imagine until you actually are in it. So that's what the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, I believe, is telling me, that you have to be in it in order to experience it. And so right now, the Wheel of Fortune is saying some things are on pause, some things are on hold. Specific things that you may be looking for, signs of success that you may be looking for, which is why we talk so deeply about knowing what success looks like without the external or material validation, so that when that comes, you know for sure that you were able to find yourself on the right path, even though it didn't start out that way. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse is saying something is on pause. Not your fortune. The wheel is always turning. It's just now about like, where is your position on the wheel? And things are a little upside down for you at the moment because you are in a rebirth. You have been a little distracted. So maybe this has come at a surprise for you. You weren't necessarily prepared for new opportunities to show up, or like for an ending to occur. You weren't prepared for it, and yet you will come out of this fortunate, and there's nothing that you have to stress or worry about, because the changes for your highest good. Okay, so literally the card says it only gets better from here. So your spirit guides are asking you to not just shine light on the negative. What does it say? Allow yourself to experience more joy and love. Raise your resonance by swimming in the sweetness of life. That is telling me to focus your energy on what is being reborn for you, what is being uncovered at this time for you through the muck and the guck. Know that you are absolutely successful right now as I am talking to you, and that your instincts are leading you even further into that success. You're the Hierophant. Very beautiful. So with the Hierophant here and the spiritual career at the bottom of the deck, some of you are meant to be spiritual teachers, those who use their spiritual gifts for enlightenment for others. You may not be doing this full time right now because things are still in the midst of change, but you are coming into a deeper knowledge about what it is, like what your message is that you want to share, what it is that you want to leave to the world, to this earth. And it's not like, oh, I stayed at this one paying job for 20 years. It's not just that. You have the Six of Wands. We're going to get into that. But, staying at a job for 20 years, again, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. or that people who do that are stuck in their fear, anything of that nature. Unless, of course, they are. That's a different reading for a different person. What I'm saying is that it's not for you. And so the Six of Wands is saying that you will be celebrated. I don't know by who. I'm not sure to what regard. Of course, I could only know that by giving you a personal reading pile number 4, but there's something here about you claiming the role as a Hierophant, taking on different studies, expanding your perspective on your spiritual career and what you would like to offer, again, to the world, of yourself, of your light. You're being recognized for that, maybe by the very people who told you should take a more practical plan to life. Maybe they're witnessing you, and you're not doing this because of them. You're not doing this to show them, oh, I'll prove you wrong. You're doing this because you feel it and you feel spiritually called to do what it is that you're doing. That is your instinct. And hopefully you now know at this point within your life, within your career, when it is your instinct telling you to do something versus that inner voice that says prove them wrong. Because that is what leads you to success, true success, not the inner voice. That leads you to rebirth, transformation. That leads you to the inevitable, like, oh, I need to shift this way of thinking. Because even though I'm not doing what they said I should do, I'm doing something to prove to them that I don't need to do what they said I should do. And that is still not just purely authentically out of my own goodwill and pure heart. That is to prove myself right. And I don't need to spend my life proving myself right. My life will be the example of that. My joy will be the example of that. My peace will be the example of that, where I will have a solid knowing that I'm exactly where I need to be, doing exactly what I need to do, which is what I said I wanted to do in one light or another. So I see this as this blind spot is lifting for you, and you're changing your perspective is being reborn around this blind spot. That's all a blind spot is, energetic or otherwise. You have a view of something from a perspective, and if you change that perspective, the view of what you are viewing changes as well. It's transformed. But it's based on an action that you take, a realization or an awareness that you enact in your life that helps you to see things more clearly. And you're going to be celebrated. You're going to be celebrating yourself. You're going to be acknowledged that you didn't just take the easy way out. You took the most transformative way out. And you learned a lot about your life, about your soul, and about spirit through this transformation. Why is the Hierophant here? If you could let me know. Just one last card. I am just curious why the Hierophant is here. What are you studying? What are you picking up? What has you so connected to Source and the love of Source, God, the universe, whoever you want to give that title to. There's something that you're doing, again, within a career or career perspective, like the potential to be a career, that is actually like bringing you closer to your spiritual team and your spirit guides. Guide me, spirit. Just needed 1, not 3. Let me see if I'm going to keep these. I don't think so, though. It's too many. I want to see what came out. You had the Hanged Man, the 5 of Cups, yeah, and the 10 of Pentacles. It came out reversed, but I'm gonna put it back in there upright. With the 5 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, like, I feel like this is just a message of like, be wary, take heed to this message, because if you don't take the time to witness what this message is trying to say to you at this moment with the Hanged Man, you will face disappointment. And it won't matter if you have all the money in the world. With the Ten of Pentacles, if you build a legacy of material and you leave out the love, the spiritual connection, the things that really enliven you and make you whole and make you excited about life, if you leave those things out, you will feel it being left out. And again, all the money in the world won't make you feel any more successful than you already are. So let's see. One last message. I think that was there to clarify that Hierophant, because they're letting you know, like, build your spiritual temple as if you were going to use that temple to converse with God. Don't build the temple and make it the shiniest and make it the biggest and make it the most filled with gold, thinking that you are impressing anyone but God. Because you're not, like, God is not impressed with what we can build. God wants to know who we are, our soul. And this is not the religious, like, oh, you know, sinner versus saints, all that other good jazz stuff. This is like real life, like, what state is your soul in? What state is your heart in? Where did you stand up for yourself and say that you believed in yourself in this lifetime? And how did you affect other people and their soul and their journey? How did you give love? How did you allow yourself to receive love? There are really only a few, like, life markers that truly matter at the end of it all. And I feel like you're going to continuously come into realization of, like, I'm stressing about this. I'm stressing about what they said. And it shouldn't matter. Because I know who I am, and I know what I'm here to work on, and I know what I'm here to experience. Again, way easier said than done. It's hard. It's hard to tune out those distractions. It's hard not to get distracted, not to get chewed up into the grind cycle, into the hustle cycle. It's difficult because it's everywhere. It is the very things that our system, our society is made out of. So how do we just go against the grain? How do we just ignore it? We do it by staying to our path, studying our path, falling in love with our path uniquely, and devoting ourselves to what we deeply, deeply believe in. This is a rebirth for you. You are going to be connected to something in a way that you haven't before. The Ace of Swords that fell out on the floor. Beautiful, beautiful, clear mind. Clear mind, clear thoughts, clear speech. High Priestess at the bottom of the deck, honey. You are an intuitive warrior. Look at their face. They're not playing. They are serious. They are seated in their intuitive power, connected to the softest, the most depth with the moon here. A lot of you could be an oracle. You could, be a messenger, a divine messenger with the High Priestess and the Hierophant here, working to send and receive messages to people. And so you're trying to figure out how to live this life authentically. And again, keeping your mind clear and pure of any distractions, that keeps you straying from this path, that keeps you blaming yourself for not having certain things set up in your life like everyone else, when you're not supposed to live a life like everyone else. The high priestess and the Hierophant, they don't live traditional lives. They don't do things how everyone else does because they're in a different position of spiritual power that is not meant to be taken advantage of or to be like to abuse that power. I don't believe that that is you at all. You're trying to figure out how to wield your power into a manifestation of security, in a sense, with the Success card. So the Ace of Swords is telling me you're going to have some new ideas coming up. Write down everything that feels important for you to hold on to. Memories, affirmations, ideas, scriptures, even if that is your thing in a religious aspect. But write down everything that you feel crossing like your mind and that you feel is important and here to directly impact your spirituality, your spiritual process, and that which you would like to place into your career as well, because we cannot forget about the career aspect. It is here. I think it's something that you take seriously. You have a very intimate practice with your career, and it's not something that can just be duplicated with the Hierophant and the High Priestess here, which is why it is taking you a journey to figure out how you would like to best represent yourself, because it is not something that for you personally has been an easy journey of just figuring out like, oh, if you're a psychic, why don't you just go to psychic fairs? It's like, okay, yes, that is a possibility, but psychic fairs sometimes cost money. It costs money to put up a table and to do vending or be a vendor. You have to invest in order to receive. And sometimes you're not always in that position. Yes, why don't you just make a YouTube channel? Okay, I could put out hours and hours and hours and hours of free content and not see anything from that and still be left as burnt out. So even if it's not like the practical, oh, why don't you get 3 jobs? It's like, if there were a solution already, I'm sure you would have come across it at that kind of situation. And yet there are still new ideas to be discovered and had, and it doesn't have to come from someone else. Just really it could come from someone else. You could have received numerous ideas just from witnessing this reading today. But be aware of when your intuition is involved and when it is not being involved, and when your instincts are being led astray. Okay, so I'm going to pull one final crystal message for you, my pile number 4, just so that we can solidify this message for you. Anything else that Spirit would like for you to know about this energetic blind spot, and then we're going to get some zodiac signs for you as well. Pile number 4, please, Spirit. Pile number 4. Pile number 4, please, Spirit. A message on their energetic blind spot. I might have to pull it out, pile number 4. All right, let's see. What's the message? We have Labradorite, beautiful, beautiful energy. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Morganite, which looks like this. I will read this one in a second. Let's get to the Labradorite, which looks like this, if you are unaware. The Labradorite is connected to the zodiac sign Leo, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. It is connected to the planets Neptune and Jupiter. And the keywords are transformation, magic, and imagination. A stone of transition, which is the death card. Labradorite assists in times of change and transformation. It expands our connection with the universe, unlocking the third eye and all the wonder that lies beyond the physical realm, as well as your magical powers. Labradorite evokes the magic we all have, reminding us to wield our power by going within and connecting to the core truths of who we are. Spot on. Chase after your dreams and allow yourself with the vibration of anything, align yourself with the vibration of anything is possible. An energy Labradorite is all too familiar with. Anything is possible. Pile number 4, we have to believe in it before it can appear. I know, again, a message that's easier said than done, easier said than interacted with, but the more that you affirm yourself mentally, cut off any distractions externally, and the more that you remind yourself like anything is possible, the possibilities begin to occur. They happen. They unfold because they sense your powers, like the possibilities, sense the power within you to withstand that journey of discovery. But you absolutely have to open yourself up to it, align yourself with the vibration of anything is possible, even if you have to write it on 10,000 sticky notes and put it all over your mirror and your walls, whatever you have to do to remind yourself that anything is possible and allow the transformation to occur. Surrender to the transformation. Let things end. Okay? That is your crystal message. We're going to also read the bottom of the deck. Morganite is connected to the zodiac Libra and the planet Venus. The keywords are acceptance, compassion, and release, of course. The ultimate love attractor. Morganite opens channels for positivity, affection, and devotion to flow effortlessly through your energetic fields. Morganite is able to uncover deep emotional pain, bringing awareness to unexpressed feelings residing inside your body so that you can release them. Know that these feelings can change and are not a part of your identity. Cleansing away thoughts of martyrdom or victimhood, Morganite expands your ability to love and receive love, advancing your soul to the core of its inner truth. You are in touch, continuously being in touch with your inner truth, your inner light, your inner knowing of what is best for yourself. For the very long time, you existed within this blind spot that had you looking outside of yourself, and now you're going deeply inward. Do not be afraid of that. Be curious. Be curious about yourself, your purpose, and your powers, your gifts and abilities, and allow the external things to fade away. The feelings that you feel that are unexpressed or suppressed within you, express those things in a safe and compassionate way. Knowing like, oh, I've been holding on to a lot of stuff, so I can let this go now. And it's okay that I've held it this long. I mean, what is time anyway? I am moving forward with a clean mind, with a clear heart, and, don't hold on to those things as an identity. Don't identify with those feelings. Know that they were born out of difficult and challenging situations, and you can release them whenever you're ready. Okay? So I'm going to roll the Astro Dice 3 times. We're going to see the top 3 zodiac energies that are in your life currently playing a part in this journey for you. And that will be the finale of your reading, pile number 4. You have Aquarius energy. Yes, the outsider, the one who's doing things differently than anyone else. That is that Aquarian energy. You also have Capricorn energy, which is a strong focus or focal point on the material, achieving success, having a strong and powerful career. That is definitely Capricorn energy here. And the final and third zodiac energy for you is Capricorn again. Well, we have to do one more, even though we have knocked the cards all around. But Capricorn again, so some of you could be double Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Let's see. One last. Aries. There you go. Aries is that final and last energy, fiery, ambitious, go-getter Aries. Okay, channel that energy if you don't have any, in order to assist you during this rebirth. Don't let fear get in your way. Don't let others stop your flow. Just keep doing what you're doing because you're in it at this point. And you're exactly where you need to be. And your intuition and your instincts will continue to guide you. Trust them and believe in yourself. Pile number 4, this is your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. I would love it, actually. And I would love it if you decided to stay a while, subscribe to the channel, and engage with the content as you see fit. And other news, I can't wait to see you in another reading. Peace.